and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to real sports talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253 DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome in to Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you on a Wednesday, July 12th, and a lot to get to over the next 3 hours. We had the All-Star game last night in Major League Baseball. The Grizzlies in Summer League action right now, and Big 12 Media Days started earlier this afternoon, and we're getting a handful of the coaches today, a handful of the coaches tomorrow. I believe only one coach, I think Dan Holgerson, the only coach of a new team, speaking today. The other three teams will go tomorrow, so it was interesting to hear what he had to say, what some of the other Cougars and affiliates with Houston had to say today, and really what everyone really around Big 12 had to say today to start off.
Temple, didn't they?
Had to take a shot at Temple, but I guess I'll go with it. Yeah, that was rough. I was just tuned in real quick, see what was going on, and
I watched a lot. 7 today, 7 tomorrow, right?
Yes, that's right. Splitting it right down the middle, just going 2 days. And today started about noon and is going to run throughout this afternoon. I think I only got to hear 3 coaches before we started today. Tomorrow will be more in the morning. I think they're starting about 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, and all the coaches should be over around 1 o'clock or so.
I don't think they sniff a playoff spot, the Big 12.
Well, maybe Texas.
Texas Tech, Brett. Don't forget that's our TCU for this year is the Red Raiders.
Right.
So much so.
Memphis president of Guns Up, Texas Tech Alumni Association.
Kind of the president of multiple teams. I don't know about that.
So much so, I've been told now that I can't even call Texas Tech a sleeper because of how loud Joey McGuire is and just how much noise that program has been making this
I
last
think they quantify as TCU-type sleeper.
I agree.
I think so.
Help me, and I should know this because I pronounced it, had to call his name at the ball game.
The quarterback, I don't know.
Is it Shuck? Like
that's what I've heard.
Shucky the North?
Yeah. But
I think so.
I'm not the one to ask because I didn't know until I went
we may have mangled his name pregame.
Well,
that's okay.
I didn't even realize until I went to school there that Seth Daigie's name was Seth Daigie. When I was a kid and watching Texas Tech, really just seeing his name in like box scores and stuff, call him Seth Dodge. And I go to school there, and I remember watching Seth Dodge growing up, and they're all like, Seth Dodge? It's Daigie. I'm like, I'm just newly a Red Raider here, I guess. I don't
called
really.
him Dogie, like Little Dogie.
Yeah.
Sounds like multiple conversations I've had with you in the past trying to
Seth
pronunciate
Daigie. His brother
names.
was a quarterback at like West Virginia or something like that years after him.
Well,
when I was in college.
Wasn't their dad legendary Texas high school football coach?
Is that right? It would make sense then that his offspring played so many different places.
I think. Well, and one thing a few weeks ago when the pronunciation police got on you, now I know.
That was me, probably.
I know
Probably.
We're,
or John, if it had to do with golf, John Goen.
The Bible of baseball statistics is Elias.
Mm-hmm.
And a few weeks ago, you were mentioning Elias, and you said Elias.
Yeah.
Either. Okay.
Tomato.
Well, we now know Elias from last night.
You're kidding me.
The MVP.
Oh! I thought you were saying that they made it official last night that it's Elias Sports Bureau.
No, the MVP.
I see. The
Elias
MVP.
Diaz.
So
Elias Diaz.
I was just talking about the wrong one.
That's right.
I was talking about the player.
That's what he meant.
Either tomato.
Potato.
I hate when Brett gives you defenses for your ridiculous behavior.
I'm going to defend both of y'all every time.
I'm a genius.
It's too nice.
I'm
Brett. It's too nice.
afraid Elias Diaz will hold up about as well as the second MVP ever after they started awarding the most valuable player. First did it for the first game in 62 when Maury Wills won. People know Maury Wills. The second one, Leon Wagner. What you got on Leon Wagner about him?
Brett, I don't have anything on Maury Wills either, I'm afraid. So I bet it's lost on me. But I believe you that people know Maury Wills.
Just not me.
Just not me or Brian, apparently.
In fact, Maury Wills' son, Bump, ended up being a good player. And
Bump, great
was
name.
one of my answers a few weeks. Boy, that would be great now for people, wouldn't it?
John Harden.
Yeah, really.
And Bump Wills was one of the answers I gave the other day on Immaculate Grid. 0.2% of the answers.
That's a good one.
Those are the ones you're looking for right there.
Brett was telling me off air. I hope he doesn't get offended that I'm sharing his private conversations with me. But he said that he's going too fast when it's Immaculate Grid. He thought there was a time limit.
On it.
He's going too fast. No.
I really do take my time. Like, I'll open it up in the morning when I first wake up and then kind of think about it all day. For instance, the other day, I gave a 0.2% as well. Greg Zahn. Ray and an Oriole. Greg's on backup. The backup catchers are good because backup catchers, they'll play everywhere.
Yeah.
And they'll play for a long time because you got to have backup catchers.
Like Gary Bennett.
Gary Bennett, great one.
That's a good one.
Jose Molina was another one I used the other day. One of the three Molina brothers there.
Mike DeFelice.
They're like a great name. I love it.
Well, did y'all enjoy
Javi Lopez, not a backup, but Javi Lopez is the name I always
one,
use all the time.
Did you enjoy the All-Star game last night? Fun event?
Oh, I loved the All-Star game. Very much
enjoyed
so.
I don't know about the blue jerseys. Loved the green jerseys.
Oh, I didn't
Those
like
were
the
beautiful.
jerseys.
I'm not going to lose my mind over the jerseys. Y'all know I didn't like them.
I know you
I'll
do.
lose my mind over the jerseys for you.
I lost my mind texting with friends about it last night. I can't repeat the language I used in the text. I said the uniforms are pure blank blank.
Yes.
And that was the overwhelming kind of social media reaction to it last night. I thought baseball missed an opportunity to not identify with these teams, especially in the year so far that this year has been the unknown back of the pack team. A lot of people don't know they're Miami Marlins. Even fewer may not know they're Cincinnati Reds. And to be in that kind of generic same form, I thought they missed a chance, but I don't want to lose my mind over it because if you're ever going to break those out, do it at exhibition game. It doesn't matter.
Well, I'll tell you, Brett, the first year they did the custom jerseys because Nike kind of strong-armed them with the contract deal. That's why we have the Nike logo on the Yankees jersey now as well. Don't get me started on that. But with the first year they did it, those jerseys were totally customized. Didn't even have buttons on them, I don't think. They were just ridiculous jerseys. Yeah, they just had a little logo up here. Yeah, they're just pullovers like that. Then
like
last year, no, but they were like T-shirt jerseys. You know what I mean? They were like something that Nike could sell, like a soccer jersey with two buttons on the top.
I didn't see that.
No, that was in Texas, I think. It was the first year they did the custom jersey. 2 years ago. Then last year when they went to Los Angeles, they went more back to They went more back to their regular jerseys. They just had gold lettering rather than their team lettering. I thought that was because there was so much public outcry about how terrible the uniforms were the first year. We're getting closer back to regular uniforms. Then we got this. So I don't know what direction they're going in, but they need to go back to regular uniforms. That was one of the great aspects of the Major League Baseball All-Star game.
And they managed to ruin player introductions last night.
Oh, you didn't like? I had it on mute. I didn't see that. I just saw it on the TV. But they were running out of a red carpet from the outfield. Is that right?
Yeah, just introduce them out to the line coming from the dugout.
Yeah, they were running out.
I missed that
one. And they were giving high fives, like Moogie was trying to high five everybody. I saw it all over.
But all these complaints, and I'm not going to lose my mind over it, but all these complaints, it also plays in, baseball has the only show predominantly in American sport right now. And instead of giving the day after these mild to heavy to losing your mind complaints, remove that.
Yeah.
And it's what I've been scared of for a long time about baseball. In the name of trying to be cool, trying to be hip, trying to be with it for the times, you're going to run off a lot of people.
Yeah. Well, I was really hoping we'd get extra innings last night because that's when you really would have lost your mind.
And I didn't know it till mid-game.
We talked about it yesterday of were they going to do Ghost Runner, no Ghost Runner?
Well, we sounded ignorant.
And I'm listening last night. They're like, now don't forget, we're doing a home run derby if we go to extra innings.
Oh, that's great. I didn't know that. I didn't even hear that. I love that idea.
We started that last year, but
a great idea.
Ghost Runner would have looked like Abner Doubleday walked out there if I'd had to watch a home run derby.
They hooked.
I love that.
They hooked Julio up at one point and we're talking to him. They're like,
love you too
all
much
right,
for you to love that.
Well, I love the idea of doing it in like this exhibition game
Yeah.
like that, like experiments a little bit. Like I could see.
Jay Morgan, that's how this starts because then, hey, everybody liked it. Let's try it
Let's
in
do
Game
it in a
7
real
of the World
game.
Series.
But
That's
we
how
talk
this
about-
junk starts. I almost said something else.
It's a fair
Hey,
point.
Brett, it's only 3:09. Let's save
that's a-
that.
I think I wasn't going to lose my mind. Isn't it?
I mean, that's a fair point you make too. But we also lament when the NBA All-Star Game goes around that they don't really care about the game enough, and so ways that you could make this game itself more interesting and fun that people would enjoy. That could be interesting too. Home run derby's one thing.
Yeah.
I like the golden at bat. Right? Where you go up there and you have to hit a home run.
Yeah.
Then if you don't do it, someone else on
Next
the other
guy
team.
up.
And you just go through, it's like
Yeah.
penalty kicks.
Oh,
You got to
that's
go
beautiful.
hit a
Guys,
bomb.
I just don't trust Rob Manfred. You give him open waters to experimentation. I'm scared of what could happen. Let's just play 7 innings.
When I realized it, they had hooked Julio up, and I was watching, but I didn't really have the sound up. But of course, when they put Julio on, I turned it up to hear what Julio had said. I'm like, all right, it's close game, back and forth. If y'all can tie it up, who are you gonna throw up there in the home run derby? He was like, I think Vladdy should go up there. Vladdy's when they're trying to get Julio to do it. They're like, Julio, you should.
And he said,
40
"I've had
ones
enough."
last night. He was like, I'm good.
I'm going, what are they talking about? Almost checked it. I'm going, what's? And then I realized,
Home run derby.
here goodness, thank goodness I didn't have to go through that.
Oh, I was praying. I was like, let's tie this game up. I was trying to figure it out because we had the under last night. That hit the
That was
under.
easy, wasn't it?
Oh, it was very easy. I think 5
Did you
runs
ever
only.
sweat it?
No, not at all.
And the 2 circus catches, the first 2 outs of the game.
Oh, yeah.
That almost locked in your under.
Mm-hmm.
And the right field catch by Garcia, he just stuck his glove up.
Yeah,
And
that
ball,
was-
like in Little League, when you're scared of the ball and you stick it up and you look up and you got a snow cone.
Oh, got it.
Now, left field, the catch by Rosarena, I think he had a good handle on it. Still a tough chance.
Sure, yeah. But, no, it was I thought it was a lot of fun last night. We had the first inning under as well, which was, that was easy. But
That was good morning, good afternoon,
it sure
good evening.
was. But Jay Morgan's mad at me
Gaming's
today.
easy, isn't it?
Well, I decided today I was going to bet aces.
Yeah, tell
and
him what you did.
tennis.
Tell him what you did.
So Brett, you know what an ace is in tennis? Where you just
Yeah,
throw,
I do know that
You
about
slingshot
Bryant,
it.
who doesn't watch any tennis at all, decided that he was only going to bet on the over-unders of total aces in the games today.
You can do that?
Oh, of course.
What a ridiculous idea.
And so
I
I
retired in the nick of time.
I was looking all the
There's
all
no
the stats
information
up
about
and stuff.
that.
Oh,
One
you can go back to
factor
their
in-
old games.
One factor in
Matches.
serving, especially at Wimbledon, where a lot of the courts can be outside, you can be playing on some of the secondary courts
Win
and stuff
eight.
like that. That's right. One big factor in serving, especially getting aces,
Yeah.
is weather. Bryant, you look at any weather updates in Wimbledon today?
Couldn't tell you what the temperature was.
That's
today.
too
Just let
bad.
it rip, but you
Let it
won.
rip. No, I did not.
Lost
No,
all of
no.
them.
All of them.
Clean sweep.
Clean sweep.
See, I think you should get something back when you do that.
I mean, give
Like
me
when you-
money for losing
Like when
all
you
of
bet a
it.
14 parlay and you lose all 4, shouldn't you get something out of it?
It might be more impressive than hitting it.
That takes some credit. I mean, that's hard to do.
I
isn't
was
it?
on, so,
God bless you, Bryant.
I made those bets last night. When I did, I said, this is stupid. Why am I doing this? But I'd already placed them.
Handicapping.
So
We like the action.
I go to bed. I wake up this morning. I go down. I'm playing some golf earlier today with my brother. It's tomorrow's birthday. He wanted to go play golf, so we're out playing golf. I was like, you know what? Let me just check, see how these are going. Not going well at all. I was like, all right, well, we'll at least win one of these. We're good. After the round's over, I look at my phone. All losses.
Spirit of full disclosure. Low stakes, right?
Extremely low
Okay, good.
stakes.
Vending machine stakes.
A little more than vending machine. Let's see.
Drive-through lunch.
I could buy maybe like 10 sodas for one of those bets.
Okay.
If anybody knows how much a soda costs
Hey,
here.
You run your money like you want to.
Hey, I don't know your bankroll
Yeah.
just as much as you know mine.
Speaking of bankroll, y'all know we all lost group lock last weekend on 901.
Well, we're
bankroll.
back tonight against Oakland.
That was terrible. I texted Brian the next morning. I was watching the highlights of that match. I said, you know what? I don't think I'm ever going to sniff betting one of these league matches ever again. God bless 901 FC. Everyone I know that goes to the games, they have a great time.
Yeah.
But
I still want to go to a game.
I don't think I'm ever going to bet on it ever
Is
again.
it here tonight?
No, it's in California. I
Yeah,
think.
because
I don't know.
Redbirds start back Friday night here.
Going on Sunday. So
I'm going Friday night.
yeah.
MLS match day, too.
That's
so
why I'm
two
wearing
American
my-
leagues going
wearing
on
my
here today.
kit today.
Is that right? Your
Would
Nashville
a kit just be a jersey, or is the kit the whole thing?
Part of the kit.
Part of the kit. I'm wearing my Nashville SC.
I like
it. It's Johnny Cash inspired. That's why I had to buy it. So they play tonight. We're putting money on
Have you been to his birthplace ever? Over on 55 in Eastern Arkansas? You ought to.
Have not. That'd be fun, but I have not. But quickly before we get to top and not top story, Big 12 Media Days, we kind of talked about it a little bit, but obviously expansion was a big kind of talking point earlier today, and kind of the message around the whole league was kind of, we want to add. There's plan and set. They're open for it as long as it can enhance that conference. So I think you should be excited to hear that from the commissioner
The
today.
door is anything but shut.
Yes.
I mean, I would say wide open.
Mm-hmm. I think so. But
so that's good, and I still think we need the pack in some form in Memphis to land in a newfangled Big 12.
I saw today there was a Colorado beat writer at Big 12 Media Days today. Just in case, you never know.
I know for a fact there are representatives of the SEC there for the potential of next year's SEC Media Days being at AT&T Stadium.
Really?
Or maybe at minimum at the Star.
Wow. Interesting. So a lot of people at Big 12 Media Days.
And because I saw one with a kind of a throwaway camera shot, texted him, he goes, I need to change seats. I didn't want to be in that camera shot.
Ooh. Well, that's fun. Like I said, half going today, the other half going tomorrow. Houston was the only team out of the new four that talked today. The other three will go tomorrow. But let me set up today's show before we get into top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Clayton Collier from ABC 24. He's the lead sports anchor over there. He'll join us to talk all things Memphis sports. Grizzlies Summer League in action right now. Tigers basketball still looking to round out that roster, and Tiger football going to be here before we know it, so we'll get into all of that. We'll also have to ask Clayton about his Mets at some point. What's going to happen?
Selling?
Oh, a lot of questions in New York for the Mets.
We got to check in with Clayton about his drive from back at his home.
Oh, yeah.
16-hour thanks to United canceling his flight 3 times.
Crazy.
He had to hit the pavement 16 hours to get back to Memphis.
That is insane. We'll do all of that with Clayton in our next segment. 3:45, we'll get back into the All-Star game, talk about everything that happened last night, including Shohei Ohtani getting some chance to become a Seattle Mariner. So we'll talk about the All-Star game at the end of this hour. 4 o'clock, John Goen from Timber Trust Golf. I was there earlier today. We'll talk some golf and make some picks with him. We got 2 tournaments to pick this week. That was kind of a shock this morning when I got up and started trying to make some picks.
I sent it to you Sunday night.
I know
too.
you did. I know.
See, I don't think y'all read all my texts on Sunday night when I send results.
I read all the result part,
and
that's about it.
Maybe I need to have the really important stuff first and then the results.
Maybe. But I saw it, and I read it, and then after the last couple of days, I kind of forgot about it.
Brett, I didn't need it because I placed wagers on both the Barbasol Championship and
look at you.
That's
the
real
Scottish
knowledge.
Open today.
Look at
So,
you.
we've been capping all morning.
Hey, sharing is caring. I just want to put that out there.
You don't listen. Instead, you bet aces.
I just want to try.
Sorry, finish the rundown. I'm sorry, this is not the time for
something
that.
Maybe it's easy betting the Barbasol.
That's right.
Jay Morgan's been betting all these tennis bets. He'll tell me what they are. I don't really understand them because I don't watch tennis. So I just want to try something new today, and it didn't work out for me. But we'll talk some golf at 4 o'clock. 4:30, we'll get back into the baseball conversation. Talk about payrolls. Who has the highest payrolls in baseball, and how does that affect when you look at the standings? Because especially this year, you talked about it earlier, kind of these unknown teams coming out of nowhere, and some of those big. We just talked about the Mets, kind of towards the back of the standings. We know how much money they like to throw around, so we'll do that at 4:30. 4:45, we'll get to big number of the day. 5 o'clock, we'll talk all things college football with Bill King from WNSR Nashville. Like we said, Big 12 Media Day starting today, and it's really just the landslide after this for Media Days for all of the conferences. And then before we know it, we'll be at football season. So we'll talk all things football with Bill King at 5 o'clock. 5:30, We'll get to what's trending at 5:45. We'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time. We're sitting in the Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. The summer clearance sale going on right now, and Family Leisure needs your help to clear out their inventory. All DIY pools, $1,000 off. Special 24-round pool, less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Patio furniture up to 30% off. Spas are in stock and up to $1,200 off. And don't forget about the 24-month same as cash financing that is now available only at Family Leisure, 2120 Whitten Road, just north of I-40.
He's Bryant Dacus. I'm Brett Norsworthy. Our producer, Jay Morgan Harder. We are Sports Time and with you till 6 o'clock. We want you to be a part of our show by texting or calling 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Call them at 901-334-9673. Great offers on all 2023 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2023 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. When you purchase the Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design, and they make for the luxury driving experience. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story of the day is Big 12 Media Days. Starting earlier today, like I said, the schedule is kind of weird. Started about noon today and going into the afternoon, but then tomorrow they'll start about 9 a.m. and end in the early afternoon. But some interesting things coming out from Media Days. Brett Yormark was the first to talk today, and I don't know if I really like the setup they have at Big 12 Media Days. He's just sitting in a chair, just kind of relaxing, answering questions, just kind of hanging out. But whatever, I don't know if that's how I would want my commissioner in front of all of the reporters. But he said in terms of expansion that he hopes to execute a plan sooner rather than later. The league is perfectly fine with 12 teams after this year, but they're ready to pursue any additions that could add value, and that would obviously be all the teams we've heard over the last month, 2 months, whether it be the Pac-12 teams. UConn's been in there. Memphis, obviously, a name that's always in there. And like you said earlier, if you're a Tiger fan, you really want the Pac-12 to stay intact. Maybe add a team or two so that you know that they're going to stay as a conference and not fold like there's been some speculation in the past. But it's been really fun today. I always view Media Days as the start of college football season. So it's really the time where I can kind of get back into the groove of college football, remember a lot of these players that were really stars last year. And my favorite part today, Jalen Daniels, who had just the breakout season at Kansas yesterday, he's wearing a chain today that the pendant at the bottom is an Apple Watch face that is just running highlights of him from last year. It's interesting. I've never seen anything like it, but it's cool.
Flavor Flav of football?
Yeah, I guess so.
Wow. Is that it?
That's it.
I can't top that.
I'll
try, though. My top story. National League, they break the streak in a streaky historical series. And shouldn't it be?
Yeah.
Over the long march of time, and we're there for sure, starting in 1933, it should be pretty even with even players, equal players, abilities on both sides. Now a 6-run advantage all-time for the junior circuit, the American League. Big early catches, and I thought fun. But I'm with the great majority on the uniforms. Just go back to the regular uniforms. Again, no need to lose my mind over it. I came very close to it, though. Everything does not have to be about more sales in the team store. Let's just let some things just flow.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day, we got the All-Star game last night, and now we're kind of in the home stretch to the end of the year. Not the second half of the season, but after the break, what's going to happen? A lot of question marks. The next big thing is trade deadline. Who will be moved? Who turns out to be a seller? Who turns out to be a buyer? But some of these teams, like the Cincinnati Reds, do they have staying power the rest of this season? Can they stay atop of really a poor division? Some of these other teams, will the Rays kind of continue this domination that we've seen, even though kind of a slow start to this month? The Atlanta Braves in that same conversation. Can they continue it?
The Rays were leaking oil going into the break.
Oh, yeah, they needed that break. And maybe can we see them kind of get back into that form after this break? You go out to the West Coast, what happens with some of those teams over there? San Diego, the Dodgers, the Diamondbacks. That division, I think, is going to be one that gets a lot of attention during this back half of the year because of, we know those two dominant teams, but seeing the Diamondbacks and what they've done this year, can they keep that up? Or will one of those kind of big-time powerhouse teams take over and really take control down the stretch?
My not top story, Rob Manfred spoke on a lot of subjects in a lot of media availabilities and interviews and chats at the All-Star game, at the All-Star festivities in Seattle. And one of the subjects, expansion coming up. I don't really know the best place if they wanted to expand tomorrow, but they're not expanding tomorrow. By my guess, 2028 or so at the very earliest. Nashville, I think, will be prominent. Montreal, Charlotte, Salt Lake City, Portland. And this is not a shot at Nashville. Does any of that grab you?
No. I wouldn't mind a team
Back
in Nashville,
to Montreal,
though.
baseball only, cozy, 32,000,
Do they have
retractable.
Do they have the infrastructure to support all of that stuff too? I mean, I feel like
I don't think so.
No, certainly not as the city stands right now.
Who?
Right.
Where? In Montreal or Nashville?
In Nashville.
No, yeah, no, not at all.
Yeah, I just don't know if any of that grabs me, but it could happen, and I never going to happen. I would rather see contraction than expansion, and contraction is not happening.
No, but it was interesting to kind of hear the commissioner say that we're going to start, after we get all this taken care of with Oakland and Tampa Bay, we're going to start looking at trying to get 32 teams. I did think that was really interesting last night, but that'll do it for top and not top story of the day. Let's go ahead and get to our first break. When we come back, we'll talk all things Memphis sports with Clayton Collier from ABC 24. We'll do that next.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today. Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
As a dentist, I know what my patients are saying when they really can't speak. She says her gums have been bleeding. Is there anything you can do? Absolutely. You can try New Crest Gum Detoxify and Restore. Yep, New Crest Gum Detoxify and Restore is professionally designed to start healing gums from day one. Right. Healthy gums, healthy mouth.
Crest Gum Detoxify and Restore. Smile, Crest has you covered.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. So you ordered a new air filter for your car. You try to install it, but it doesn't fit. So you take a little bit off the sides. What, still doesn't fit? Well, you could try to sit on it. Or get it right the first time with eBay Guaranteed Fit. When you see the check, you know that part's going to fit. Air filters, brakes, headlights, over 122 million parts. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors, let's ride. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply.
I think it's the slow smoking over pecan and hickory wood.
It's the secret combination of dry rub spices.
Maybe it isn't one single thing that makes Central Barbecue special.
I didn't say it was one thing. I said there's probably one thing that makes Central Barbecue special that's more important than the other things that make Central Barbecue special.
It's the 24-hour meat marinade.
That was the name of my band in high school, Meat Marinade.
Let's try and focus on Central Barbecue Spot, okay? Have we said Central Barbecue is special enough?
I'm not sure if we can say it enough because Central Barbecue is so special.
Ooh, nice. Going from Central Barbecue is special to Central Barbecue is so special.
That should probably do it.
Central Barbecue is so special. Acura of Memphis invites you to experience the all-new, completely redesigned 2022 Acura MDX. It's the most advanced SUV Acura has ever built. Experience the convenience of full connectivity, including built-in Alexa, Wi-Fi hotspot, and wireless charging, from the stunning interior complete with third-row seating. Stop by our state-of-the-art facility and take advantage of our aggressive APR offers today at Ridgeway and 385. Or shop online from the convenience of home now. Visit AcuraofMemphis.com.
Great news from Memphis. Now we don't have to travel to Nashville or New York to get a quality diamond, engagement ring, or designer jewelry. Tennessee's best jeweler is now here. Open in Poplar Commons. It's Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds is a game changer. Owned by former diamond wholesalers. They take buying jewelry to a whole new level with direct importer prices, a selection that's up to 30 times ordinary stores, no commission salespeople, and the best warranties and guarantees in the industry. And at Genesis, they'll teach you the inside secrets of the diamond industry, things other stores don't want you to know. Genesis Diamonds has been serving Tennessee shoppers for nearly 2 decades, and now they're here with a stunning showroom in Poplar Commons. Genesis has all the big name designers like Tucori and Verragio. They have a vault full of precious GIA certified diamonds, plus case after case of exquisite earrings, pendants, bands, bracelets, and an amazing selection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes. We've needed a jeweler like this for years. Now they're here. Genesis Diamonds, the official jeweler of the Tennessee Titans, now open in Poplar Commons.
Purchase a new energy-efficient heating and cooling system from Conway Services today and get up to $1,750 back plus a free Nest thermostat when Conway Services buys back your old, inefficient HVAC system. Guaranteed service and flexible payment options are great reasons to call Conway Services today. Visit conwayservices.com for details, terms, and conditions. License number 64210, 64365 EAS, MS 19668.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and joining us now, the lead sports anchor from ABC 24, Clayton Collier, joins us now. Clayton, thanks for joining us, and we kind of mentioned it earlier. I heard you had some travel issues after a little vacation. What was it, 3 flights canceled and then had to drive, 16 hours back to Memphis?
Ended up being 17.
Oh,
and
man.
I can tell you, for a company called United, I never felt more alone.
Ugh.
No kidding.
It's awful.
Isn't it awful? And there's just no recourse. There quite literally is nobody you can get on the phone and actually communicate with. And, you're stuck at the airport. You're trying to get back home. And Clayton, if it's any solace to you, I went online last night. Southwest got a bunch of direct flights now.
Oh, great. Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, United told me I could come in on Wednesday night. We were trying to leave on Sunday, so yeah, the big drive was the only other option. But after 2 hours on the phone, they did tell me that there was the option to fly out. They had no flights. I said, how about Philly? And then they came back and were looking up flights to Billings, Montana, to down to Memphis. So at that point, I was like, I don't think I have any help out here.
You played the Billings, Montana card. It's time to get in the car.
Time to get going. Yeah.
Well, we're glad you're back to home, and I know I know you're from there, but Memphis is definitely home for you. Now back to your ancestral home. What about your Mets?
Oh man.
Hey, I think what was it? Pete Alonso was the one that ended up hitting that kid in the face in the home run derby.
Yeah.
I think that pretty much sums up the Mets season so far.
Yeah,
I felt an injury coming with all those little children, and it sure did.
Every year you feel that way, don't you?
It's unfortunate. I haven't seen anything, but I hope that kid was okay.
Pete Alonso at deadline time. Does he remain a Met?
Oh, absolutely. Is that a question?
Yes.
I haven't been.
There's some deals out there. Yeah.
I would be shocked if that was the case. I mean, that's the guy that you kind of build your lineup and your franchise around. I wouldn't say so.
But he's not locked up for the future, and it's big money, and the return would be bountiful.
That's fair. I was going to point out, though, I did see people talking about ways to make the All-Star game even better, and I saw something on Twitter I wanted to bring up to you guys. Somebody mentioned, why not, instead of having 12 aces, having the worst pitcher or have the players pick a pitcher that they want to play in the game? I love that idea.
Could we just make Steven Matz the regular All-Star game pitcher?
Oh, you can't do that right now to me. He's from my hometown.
I'm sorry, Clayton. Me and my big mouth.
Let me spread that. We'll just do the whole Cardinals pitching
Pick your
staff.
Cardinal.
Just pick your
there
Cardinal.
We go. Okay. Yep. Okay. We'll go with that. The man has a sandwich in our hometown deli named after him, so I can't go there on defense. Yeah,
he was can't miss.
That's awesome.
Wouldn't you classify him, Clayton, as can't miss when he came up?
Oh, absolutely. I did a story on him when he was in the minors. The thing that people don't know about him very much is that he signed with the Mets as a first-round pick or compensation pick, and then he immediately tore his ACL, his UCL, and had a Tommy John surgery, and then the UCL, I believe it was sticking to the bone because of the scar tissue. It wasn't breaking free. So he had like 2 or 3 years of recovering from that Tommy John surgery to the point where they were about to have to give him another one. And they said, you might as well just throw again and try to see if it'll break free because, like, worst that's going to happen is you're going to break it and we're going to have to do it again anyway. So he did. And sure enough, it broke free of the scar tissue. He was close to giving up on baseball in that moment. Sure enough, within 2 years, he was back up with the Mets, and he was hitting. I remember he was one of the few pitchers that didn't use batting gloves. He was awesome coming up, and I know it hasn't worked out well right now with St. Louis, but it was fantastic watching him coming up, and especially in 2015 with the Mets too. So he's had quite a story to get to that point.
Wow.
Clayton, you're a very, very nice person. You really are. I say that I want our audience to know when you see him on TV, this is a really nice person. You put that so nicely and delicately. It's not working out for the Cardinals. That's a nice way to put it.
Sure is.
Well, listen, I think the Mets and the Cardinals have a lot of parallels right now in terms of that just nothing is working out.
Nothing.
Signing 2 40-year-old starting pitchers somehow isn't working out incredibly well, and that's the least of the Mets' problems right now.
Murphy's Law kind of is taken over, and I wanted Buck Showalter so badly for the Cardinal job when they hired Ollie Marmol, but now you're seeing the diminishing return on Buck. It starts out great. It hardly ever ends great for him anywhere.
It does, but also, I look back to the time with the Yankees with him, and granted, I was, not as aware of a sports fan. I was, a toddler at that time. But that was right before Joe Torre came in. And, does he deserve to be credited with having some fingerprints on those late 90s Yankees teams and some of the work that he did? That's something that I've always kind of wondered about him because, when you have Steinbrenner, giving leeway for chances to succeed wasn't exactly there. How differently would that work out and how differently would we be looking at Buck Showalter had he been given another year
That's a great point.
with the Yankees.
Yeah.
That is a great point. And we've seen that happen in sports. Lou Piniella winning it all in 1990 with the Reds, that was really the team Pete Rose had put together, and then his banishment from baseball from Commissioner Giamatti in August of 89 kind of led to Lou Piniella getting the only one he ever got. And there was a time, Clayton, I would have said Buck Showalter is the far superior manager to Joe Torre. And then Torre goes to the Hall of Fame with all that Yankees success.
Well, and when he came to New York, he was labeled as Clueless Joe still from his time with the Mets.
On these airwaves, I called him second place Joe for years.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Is it's amazing, in that perception, had Buck been given another year or two, he wins a championship or two, suddenly is he that far away from having that Joe Torre lore?
Yeah. Talking to Clayton Collier from ABC 24. And Clayton, right now we've got the NBA TV on Grizzlies in action against the Clippers down, I think, 41-35 at the half. How much Summer League have you watched of the Grizzlies, and has any of these young guys kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, well, I was hoping to watch it Monday, but I was instead driving to Virginia. But I've been watching this first half. Kenneth Lofton Jr. plays like a lot more athletic than he looks, which I think we already knew by now. But, I mean, he's having fast breaks. Jake LaRavia looks like he has a level of confidence we have not seen to this point at the NBA level. So some encouraging signs from what we're seeing. Granted, it's Summer League. One thing that I am seeing, though, is there's one piece missing right now out in Vegas. And do you know what that is?
No, what's that?
Zaire Williams.
Yes.
I think they could really use seeing him, and I think he could probably use it too. Now, I know there's a lot of talk about, whether or not he's best served being that three-point shooter type that they were trying to make him, or if his skill set's really somewhere else. And I think that's something that we'll probably see them explore with him this upcoming year, is my guess. I'm not going off of anything with that, but is he better served, with some of those, mid-range shots that we were talking about, or that we saw from him kind of down the stretch a little bit at the end of this year? That's something I'm interested with him for sure. And I think it would have been nice to see him, even if he is a year 3 player, in Summer League.
Clayton, I don't know that I have been pointed about it. I've just said it a couple of times. Next year for both the Grizzlies and for the Tigers. For the Grizzlies, it will be advancing in the NBA playoff tournament. For the Tigers, it will be advancing in the NCAA tournament. And by advancing, I say Sweet 16. Which one do you think, as we get into the fall of the year and both seasons start, the most pressure will be on for playoff success at the end of each respective season?
Not to cop out of that, but I just feel like I can't choose one or the other right now with how much of a roster flux there is for the Tigers.
Very fair.
Because just DeAndre Williams, does this Hail Mary attempt from, at least depending on who you ask, it's either a slam dunk or it's a complete Hail Mary.
I don't think it's Hail Mary anymore. I think it's like corner post route.
I mean, it's possible, but it is very late in the process, and how that impacts, I don't know. Like, did you not get him until conference play just because the NCAA, this is about as late as possible? Even his attorney had said so 6 weeks ago when he took on the case. He said, normally I have to me, he told me I have a matter of months or, even a year typically in the previous cases. He's like, we're talking about days and weeks. So, how this comes together, I know that he told me that they dropped off the information, their case, and all the information to the U of M because their compliance department's the one that has to submit the waiver. But the waiver has, as of Monday, hadn't been submitted yet. I don't know how long that process is to turn that around. But, at this point, we're July 12th. And on top of that, Mikey Williams' hearing was supposed to be today out in California. That got delayed to, I believe it was mid-September. I could be wrong on that. It's out there. But, it's now the second delay on his hearing. And that's to me appears less and less likely. Unless, is he going to play for Memphis while this process plays out? Are they going to wait? That's something that's obviously the major question mark for them. They've got their new center. They've got, somebody to at least pair with DeAndre, if not anchor down in the front court moving forward. But, I can't really put expectations on this team until you know what's going to happen with
You got to see a roster.
With two of, if not your two best players. Yeah, you have to see your roster. For the Grizzlies, I love what they did this offseason. You have to see how John Morant enters the mix here with somebody, like Marcus Smart. Do they get along off the court? Are they able to flow on the court together? On paper, all this really seems to come together well. But, I think another year of things not going well or a first-round exit, then you might be in a situation where they have to ask some more questions. The obvious question and answer that they had was we need to get more mature, and we need to figure out how to generate some more flow in the half court while maintaining the defense, subtracting Dylan Brooks but maintaining his defense. Yeah. And it seems that Derrick Rose and Marcus Smart were the primary answers to that. And it seems like a good fit and like things work out there, but that's why we play the game and the ball gets rolled out.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with you. Last thing for you, Clayton, before we let you go, Big 12 Media Day started today, so football will be here before we know it. For the Tigers, though, a big year is they're going to see some new faces in the new look American Athletic Conference. What do you think about this year and Ryan Silverfield's team?
Yeah, I think the pressure's on in some respects that you need to really show up because you're in the middle of, still in the midst of conference realignment. I think Memphis needs to show that, the Cotton Bowl year wasn't a fluke necessarily, and I'm not saying that that's the standard.
Yeah, but time's marching on from that.
Right, but 500 and, in end of the, roster bowl is probably going to be, a disappointment in that respect. You're obviously in this market, you're always fighting apathy when it comes to, interest in the football program and everything compared to basketball, both collegiately and with the Grizzlies. But, you have a much easier schedule and you're going to need to take advantage and you're going to need to show that you're at the very least one of the dominant teams in this newly restructured American because, if you come up empty this year, that's really a rough look when it comes to conference realignment.
Yeah, definitely right about that.
That just puts more pressure on Ryan Silverfield.
Sure does.
He has had.
So to answer your question from before, sorry to cut you off. Between the Tigers, the Grizzlies, and Tigers football, answers Tigers football.
Great answer. Yeah. Great answer. Because it's the most immediate. It's the ones that you kind of queued up. Next, and Clayton, the entire Ryan Silverfield era has really been pressure-packed. First of all, coming in after that Cotton Bowl. Then COVID. COVID 20, COVID 21. Now a little, maybe a lot of apathy. A struggling year last year.
Transfer portal becoming what it is.
NIL.
Yeah.
I mean, he has had the pressure, and it makes this year big with a newly drawn up AAC.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's it's been unfair in terms of that once COVID hit, the momentum immediately
sure did.
Everybody's momentum coming off of that ended up dying down, and unfortunately for Memphis hit that time.
I think it hit Memphis 901 and Tiger football harder than anything what COVID did to the sports scene.
That I agree in this market for sure.
Yeah,
couldn't even celebrate really after the Cotton Bowl because it was
didn't have
right
time.
there. Yeah, you didn't have time at all.
And also for the department, for the administration, Laird was fighting like a 3-front battle with ARP.
Yeah, it's a weird time. It really was. But Clayton, thank you so much.
Great stuff, man.
For joining us, and let's definitely do this again soon.
Absolutely, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Clayton.
Clayton Collier, the lead sports anchor for ABC 24, join us to talk some Memphis sports, kind of everything going on right now between Tiger football, Tiger basketball, and Grizzlies. Never really an off season for Clayton, that's for sure. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about what happened last night in Seattle at the All-Star Game.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard. Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard. It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Ray Magliozzi here for eBay Motors. Okay, easy now. You're teaching your kid how to parallel park. Ouch! Turns out he likes to do it by feel. Don't worry, eBay Motors has bumpers, taillights, trunk lids, license plate holders, 122 million parts. Pull up just a little bit. And headlights. They've got lots of headlights. Get the right parts at the right prices. eBay Motors. Let's ride.
You've heard of James Gaddis Jewelers, but have you heard what they've done lately? Everything. A tremendous selection of diamonds and jewels, gold, silver, and much more. Lots of watches, tons of custom-made jewelry, fine gemstones, bracelets, necklaces, so many choices. Romantics will love the one-of-a-kind estate and vintage jewelry. James Gaddis has experts to help you with wedding and engagement rings, plus 2 repair experts for fine watches and jewelry. Layaway and financing available. James Gaddis Jewelers at 4900 Poplar.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time as we wrap up our first hour. And Brett, you kind of mentioned it in our first segment before we got to a break about how last night we had talk of expansion in Major League Baseball.
Just kind of dropped it in there, didn't
I mean, just randomly. I mean, I didn't see that coming. But basically, after everything gets situated with Oakland moving to Las Vegas, they can figure out what they want to do with Tampa Bay, whether it be kind of enhance and stay in Tampa Bay or move them. They're going to start looking to expand from 30 teams to 32 teams. The biggest one here, kind of regionally, would be a team in Nashville or the Nashville area. I think they could, we talked about kind of the infrastructure. They could do something like Atlanta where it's not necessarily in Nashville, but right outside of Nashville. But we've seen the names, and I think there's a 5 or 6 names that are really going to be prominent.
You and Jay Morgan, y'all will see, and younger listeners will see the day that Nashville's in the major leagues. I don't know when, but at some point I think they get there, and I don't think they'll get there when it goes from 32 to 34. It gets there when it goes 30 to 32. Yeah. Now, when is that?
That's a good question.
And we're running out of the potential of places, especially if you eliminated Montreal. if you kept it just to the contiguous 48 states, we're about it maxed out on places it can go to. Vegas was always kind of the answer. We got Vegas now.
Yeah.
New Orleans is never seriously mentioned in baseball, Major League Baseball talk. Louisville never seriously mentioned. Okay, Charlotte, but has the NBA really worked in Charlotte? It hasn't been bad.
No,
but NFL has.
The NFL's definitely worked in Charlotte.
Okay, so you go to Florida, and I thought going to Florida for Tampa and for the Marlins was a mistake. Where else could you go? You couldn't go to Jacksonville. You couldn't go to Orlando.
Orlando's making a push. I mean, they're the one place in Florida that is really, you hear about the Nashville group that's really trying to push. Orlando's got a group. They have, Brett, we love our renderings. I've seen some renderings of what a stadium would look like in Orlando.
I like
it looks
the people
good.
in them. Yeah, they always have somebody walking around the stadium.
It's never an empty stadium. It's always a full stadium.
And the poor guy outside the stadium is walking around
looking at it.
It's so lonely. Like, I didn't get a ticket.
I didn't get in there.
I couldn't get in there.
Why can't we just see it's because the potential of what this could be full of people excited for a game.
And I always go back to that artist rendering on that NFL hunt for us when we had not a dome stadium, not a retractable roof stadium, but kind of the umbrella.
Love that.
That would have just kind of been over the whole fairgrounds complex.
Love that. I love that. But, I
boy, that would have held the heat well, wouldn't it?
Oh, Lord, it would have been an oven in there.
Can you imagine some of those Ole Miss Memphis games early in the year?
Was it I think it was the Memphis UCLA game where they ran out of water.
But literally sitting on the sun that day would have been no hotter.
Oh, man, that was a crazy day.
Only thing that really saved people that day was 11 o'clock kick. Because we were at Berkeley Ole Miss, we were at Berkeley playing Cal.
That's right.
And I had that game on my TV at 9 out there.
Now, thankfully, I was sitting inside of a Huey's watching the game, and so I didn't really have to.
I would have thought you would have been doing that game that day for campus.
No, I might have still been in high school when that game happened.
No,
I might have been a senior in high school when that game happened, or maybe even younger. I don't remember, but I don't think I was at the university yet for UCLA. Because if I was there for the UCLA, I would have either been in the stands as a fan
or in the press
box if I was a student. So I think that was before my time at the university.
Okay.
Sorry, that was your
time travels much too quickly. Time passes much too. Whatever Chicago's saying.
Yeah, I guess so. But, we know the names that are going to be big when it comes to expansion. It's going to be Montreal, Nashville,
Do we
Orlando,
forget how it
Charlotte.
ended in Montreal? I think people do.
Yeah, but I think it's just that, Montreal is really the
one. They
one.
blame Loria and David Sampson, though, for the most part. They blame ownership to where, it was working. They did that. But MLB wanted out of Montreal.
The original retractable roof was going to be Olympic Stadium at Montreal, and they couldn't get it to open and shut.
Technology's come a long way.
It sure has. That's a great point. But Montreal is that one, that everyone likes to go back to, and the logo, and just kind of everything about the Expos.
And we had an affiliation with them in Memphis, double A affiliate.
That's right.
Early 70s. I remember Gary Carter, Tim Raines, Ellis Valentine, couple guys.
Yeah, so
I'm Charlie Lee.
Yeah,
Memphis, the late great Charlie Lee, Memphis.
Yeah, so who knows if Montreal's a serious candidate for it? But that's going to be probably the biggest name that's thrown around if we get to the point where we're talking.
Memphis and Ross Grimsley pitched the big league level for the Expos.
Really?
Oh yeah.
So a lot of local flavor there.
Later pitched in the World Series, and now is long-standing analyst on Baltimore Orioles games.
Oh, wow. So it should be exciting, though. But I did think it was interesting that we kind of the first time we've really heard, hey, we're interested in expanding from 30 to 32 teams. And like you said,
shout out Frazier High, I think, for Ross Grimsley.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll switch gears, talk some golf with John Goen from Timber Trust Golf.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Do you have heart failure and often hear,
"Those stomach issues ruined your birthday"?
"You're too tired to play catch, Grandpa."
Sweetie, you haven't touched your tools since the carpal tunnel syndrome diagnosis.
If these seemingly unrelated symptoms sound familiar, talk to your cardiologist and ask about transthyretin amyloid cardiomyopathy, or ATTR-CM, a rare and underdiagnosed disease that gets worse over time. Learn more at connecttoyourheart.com. That's connecttoyourheart.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Today, there are more identity threats than you realize. And even if you monitor your credit and bank statements, only a little personal information needs to leak out for identity thieves to make you their victim. By taking over your investment accounts, opening new loans, committing other crimes in your name, and more. All while pretending to be you. It can be dangerously easy.
For identity thieves to put you underwater.
That's why LifeLock alerts you to identity threats you could easily miss on your own. If your identity is stolen, a dedicated US-based restoration specialist will work to fix it, so you don't have to watch your identity go down the drain. No one can prevent all identity theft or monitor all transactions, but everyone can save up to 25% off their first year at LifeLock.com with promo code NEWS. That's promo code NEWS for 25% off. LifeLock.
Our identity theft protection starts here.
Are you ready to conquer the great outdoors? Come in today and gear up with the dependable Suzuki King Quad ATV, because there's no rest for the rugged. Its unparalleled combination of power, versatility, and reliability allow you to tackle the toughest terrains with ease. And right now, there are lots of ways to help you hit the trail, including low APR financing and low monthly payments for qualified buyers, discounts for the military and first responders, and more. Roll into Olive Branch Motorsports in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and experience the Suzuki King Quad ATV's unmatched capabilities today.
For the ones who know safety isn't a catchphrase, it's a culture. And the ones who help make sure everyone makes it home safe. For the safety-minded who watch everyone's backs, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry, as well as safety assessments and training to keep your facilities safe and your people safer. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and joining us now from Timber Trust Golf to talk some golf and make some picks. John Goen joins us now. John, thanks for joining us. How are things down at Timber Trust?
Things are good, guys. Just, still kind of in recovery from aerification, but weather's been good. We were able to get that knocked out this week, so just kind of getting caught up from taking a day or so off and just, with not really focusing in on much with the overall golf course. So, just getting things mowed out the last day or so and, just pushing greens to try to recover and heal, so we can get everybody back out.
John, a lot of people right now this time of year, they're playing in a lot of tournaments, club championships, 4 balls, 2-person this, 3-person that. They're playing in a lot of tournaments. What do you tell give a lesson for us. What do you tell a person heading into their big club championship or their big 4-ball or something like that, that's not a great player, but they want to have that special weekend?
Well, the biggest thing you can do is just figure out how you're going to enjoy yourself. Those things for folks that don't play a lot of tournament golf but decide to jump into the fray on some of these things. A lot of club championships are flighted. So, in order to give everybody an opportunity to be able to play. But it's always that pressure kind of on the first tee box. So you just got to figure out a way as to how you're going to enjoy yourself. For that weekend, it's not necessarily setting a target score or anything along those lines. It's just going out and hopefully you get a good pairing to be able to enjoy the people you're going to be playing with. And
that's really good advice.
That's ultimately what makes it a good weekend.
And I think the same applies for a lot of people who are going on trips, maybe even the Dream Scotland trip. Same thing. When you get, just like you just said, when you get to that, kind of flight yourself. Get the 2s and 3s and 4s, let them play. The 6, 7, 8 handicappers, y'all get together, hit and giggle, have a good time. Y'all have your flight together.
Yeah, I don't play a lot of tournament golf anymore because I've just gotten to the point where that's all I want to do. I just want to enjoy myself with the group of people I'm playing with out on the golf course. And I've got some guys that are trying. Now that I've turned 50 and everything, we get to play the up tees now in some of these PGA section events, and I've got some guys trying to get me to play a little bit more tournament golf. But I like to be able to go out and enjoy myself on the golf course and not really get into a grind. Plus, when we get out there, we're not slow playing everything, and a lot of these guys, they get in these tournaments and it just turns into you feel like these fellas are PGA Tour players. They get out there and you're playing 4+ hours for a twosome when you should be playing substantially quicker. And then you get the belief of some other people that tournament rounds should take longer. Well, why should it take longer? So it's always interesting from that perspective. But I've just gotten to the point where anything, I literally for the most part have turned into a scramble golfer, which it's consequently, it's what we do a lot of at Timber Trust Star events. A lot of these 4-person scrambles, 2-person scrambles, things along those lines, is because it takes the pressure off of everybody. You have the ability to go out and have a good time, just enjoy the people you're around. Ultimately, just create community. That's what we're ultimately all about, and getting folks around each other that are all golfers, that are all like-minded, that enjoy being out on the golf course, like being around each other, and so why shouldn't we enjoy it?
Yeah. Have you repaired the course from the Dacus brothers down there this morning?
And Papa Dacus, Dad was down there too.
Well, it's funny. I heard that they were out there, and I didn't get a chance to run into them. We were doing a bunch of stuff this morning.
No holes permanently marred.
Oh man, I don't know. No promises, John.
Well, I didn't really see anything major, and the guys were mowing fairways, and we didn't fall into any craters. So I think we must have done okay. I did have a guy out sand filling divots on tee boxes and stuff like that, and he didn't have to go through an entire truckload. So I think we were in pretty good shape.
Yeah, I think I only lost 2 sleeves of golf balls today. So maybe a positive outing.
That's profit in the pro shop.
Yeah,
Hey, we'll find those suckers and sell them for dollar balls out of the golf shop.
I was about to say, you'll be finding a lot of balls from me. But John, you just mentioned the scrambles y'all have down there. Tell us about some of the events coming up.
Yeah, so we'll take this week off for the 2-person just because of aerification. So we're going to take a breather this week. Next week, we're tying in what we call the OB Open with the Open Championship. 4-person scramble, we are actually already sold out.
That's great.
For that event. And then our what we're doing, kind of like a bit of a member guest. We're going to change the format up a little bit, but the Boondoggle is the end of the month. The last Saturday and Sunday, we will play 6 9-hole matches for that. We're going to change the format to a 2-man scramble. We're reducing the price down to $400. So for $400, you get 2 days, 3 9-hole matches each day. We got some tee favors, and we're still kind of trying to figure out the last little bit of it. We've been toying around whether we give some shop credit or include some food and beverage in that. So, but we are changing the overall format of that event to a 2-person scramble, and reducing the price from $600 down to $400. And again, that's 2 full days of golf. Really, you're going to play 27 each day, and then we'll have a shootout at the end to crown an overall champion within the flights. So. Should be a really fun event. It's similar to the format that I used when I was at TPC for our member guests. We're going to modify it again just to kind of get back to a little bit of what we're talking about, get out of that better ball format and just turn it into a 2-man that we can all have some fun with and really kind of enjoy the weekend as we get toward the tail end. And next thing you know, kids are going to be going back to school, and football season's right around the corner. So.
It's getting close. Give us our listeners the phone number and the website, please.
You bet. So 662-895-3530. You can visit us at timbertrustgolf.com. And, of course, if you follow us on social, Timber Trust Golf Course on both Facebook and Instagram, those links for the Boondoggle in particular are there. You just need to register. It's a $100 deposit up front to reserve your team. But, again, 2-man teams. 2-person scramble. There will be flights, so we'll make sure we flight everything out to make things even. But you will be basically playing a 2-person scramble match play format for the span of 27 holes each day.
That will be a lot of fun, John. I watched some of the senatorial inquiry over the last few days, and boy, if you got insomnia, tune into that. He'll knock you out cold as a cucumber. But I did. I felt sorry for Jimmy Dunn. I don't know him at all, but legendary tour official, legendary member of some famed places, and frontman a lot of times in negotiation for the PGA. He just, I don't know who looked worse in front of Congress, him or Sammy Sosa years ago.
Well, I'm sure in a way he is happy with his achievement of at least getting everybody to the table to try to negotiate this thing out. He's probably not overly thrilled as to how he is now kind of getting drugged through these Senate hearings. And, and that Monahan's not there to, kind of somewhat fall on the sword a little bit for him. I watched the last few days. Unfortunately, guys, it's like anything else, I think, nowadays in our political society, and that is that there's a lot of just pomp and circumstance.
Totally. Doesn't the Senate have more important things to do?
Absolutely. So, there was one gentleman yesterday, I think he was a senator out of Missouri, that kind of wanted to make a point of this whole PGA in China to try to, deflect a little bit and
Josh
why
Hawley,
we aren't
he
involved.
couldn't break 90 if he had to on any golf course.
Well, and good Lord, he came across as a massive jerk trying to prove a point. And
what's higher, his golf score for 18 holes or his IQ?
Well, yeah, it's a coin flip, I think, probably.
Kidding.
So, but watched it. I don't know whether you really take anything out of it. I think at the end of the day, there's really nothing to it. We still don't know anything. I did find it interesting, I guess, with the, Tiger and Rory owning teams and committing to play in 10 live events. Yeah. That was, I think, the biggest takeaway out of the day. I think the rest of it was just kind of a bit of a joke.
Wasn't that kind of news to Tiger, though?
I'm sure it probably was. and the fact that there's no real deal in place, just literally that Jimmy Dunn
great point.
Got them to the point to be able to negotiate a deal. So at the end of the day, now we're beating the drum for absolutely nothing because we haven't accomplished a thing other than the fact that we've dropped the lawsuits. and given everybody an opportunity to try to get to the negotiating table and figure out exactly what's going on. However, it's very interesting, and I think I've said this some time ago to just folks that wanted to talk about Liv. You know, everybody's like, oh, the Tour's going to win this. The Tour's going to win this. The Tour's going to win this. Fellas, they finally went up against somebody that has deeper pockets than they do, and they don't have a prayer.
Yeah.
Don't have a prayer. And Jimmy Dunn and Ron Price literally admitted to that yesterday. Yeah. The reason they're having to do what they do is because they've finally gone up against a bigger gorilla. They have absolutely now found, you know, the bigger person that can absolutely wear them out from a legal perspective.
Yeah.
So
they got mauled.
They've got to go down this path.
If it were a ball game, they didn't come close to covering the point spread. Liv covered the spread and hit the over.
The fact that they're beating this drum of, oh, well, we will still be the major player in this whole thing, who's laughing at that comment? I mean, come on. You literally don't have the money to be able to fight these guys, yet you're still going to be the prominent one in charge of this whole thing? Do you really think they're going to allow that to happen?
Yeah, they got their brains beat out and then kind of got up after the fracas and declared victory.
Yep. Sure well, did. You know, always interesting.
Yeah,
always
it really is.
Yeah. Well, and for the players, I mean, I know Scotty Scheffler talked kind of about the whole thing and called it worrisome, just kind of the lack of clarity on what is the next step forward for tour players and Live players. Then
what's the schedule?
What's the schedule? And then him and Spieth both kind of talked about how Monahan now has to kind of earn that trust back after just kind of dropping a bombshell to all the players. For these players, I mean, how worrisome is it to be kind of in this state of limbo right now?
I am still utterly amazed how Jay Monahan can survive this whole thing. Because if I'm the players on either side, right? I mean, and I think we've talked about this. The players on the Live side left because of Monahan. Mm-hmm. The guys on the tour side stayed to try to, you know, carry the flag, but, you know, ultimately they got completely bamboozled by the guy that is in charge of running their association.
Yeah.
And so, and now he's the one who's supposedly overseeing this whole thing when it comes to fruition in this whole, you know, not merger, whatever they're calling it. So now you've got the players who now don't trust the main guy in charge. Neither side of them do, and I don't know how Monahan recovers from this. I just can't see how the current PGA Tour players can ever trust what Jay is either telling them or doing. And therefore, you know, you've got to look at a guy like a Jimmy Dunn, you know, or somebody who's on the board who's been involved in this negotiation. I don't think they could ultimately trust a Ron Price or anybody affiliated with the actual tour. I think they're going to have to go to a board person like a Jimmy Dunn, who is, you know, kind of the main guy now in this whole thing, to really trust and understand the direction in which this is going.
I've got the right guy, and he was in the mix after Tim Fincham. He didn't get it. Played on tour, Duke graduate, smart guy, great guy, trusted by all the different factions, both Live and PGA, those that went and those that stayed. Former player Joe Ogilvy.
Could be. I mean, he served on the player advisory board.
Right. Knows it backwards.
You know,
and
I mean, he was on that board when I was still at Southwind. So,
Joe's very likable.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and ultimately, I think that's what, you know, to your point, that's what's going to kind of have to happen. There's going to have to be a player directly involved in this whole thing for something to be able to happen, because these guys have to be getting to a point where they're absolutely frustrated to have to be continually thrown in front of a camera with zero information and try to play block and tackle on how they're supposed to respond to what is currently going on within their profession.
This week, two tournaments. Next week, 2 tournaments. We know one of the 2 next week, the Open Championship. But this week, the Scottish Open, part of the PGA Tour stop now. You've played Scotland golf courses. What's the one thing that when you're old man and you got the feet up and you think about Scotland golf trips that you'll always remember, John?
Well, let's see. Carnoustie twice, and, of course, the old course. And that the weather, we only played 9 holes in a light rain. The rest of the time, the weather was pretty good.
Oh, you got it.
No real wind. And we went in August, and we kind of, you kind of feel like you stole one. But just the overall experience, you
walked,
being able
no buggies,
to see,
right?
Right, walked. We did play one Parkland course that we were able to ride on, but everything else was pretty much walking. Carnoustie was an absolute blast. Just being around the history of the game, and everything else. And then, of course, just, what an awesome experience to walk the old course and then just have 9, you had quite a few people that were either walking around the golf course or actually just watching you as you would finish, and you've never really experienced any of that stuff before. And, because you're just Joe Schmo out of nowhere. Mm-hmm. And literally, though, people will, because of where it is and everything else and the history behind it, just will stand there and watch people play golf all day long, although they're not a Justin Thomas, Jordan Spieth, Scotty Scheffler, Brooks Koepka. You're John Goen from Memphis, Tennessee, and we just enjoy the game, and we're going to sit here and watch you play a little bit. And you're like, okay.
I think you just answered my next question. Crossing the Swilken Bridge, for a guy that's been in the golf business and around golf his whole life, was it all that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no.
I hit all 4s and kiss it when I go there.
I didn't quite go that far, because you just never know what happens. From that standpoint.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. It's an experience. It's something you'll remember the rest of your life. And, even if you have the opportunity to go back over, the first time you do it is pretty incredible. And then, to the point of earlier conversation, now it's about, going over with a group of friends and really, enjoying the experience together, maybe even, taking, significant other spouses, stuff like that, and kind of making it a little bit more. I will say the thing I've learned, if I do go over there again, is extend the duration of the trip, but give myself, especially now, a little bit more of a break in between golf. I mean, 8 rounds of golf in 7 days, even in 2009 when I went, is just, and you don't ever feel like you have the true opportunity to sightsee a little bit, really experience the town and stuff like that, because you're constantly just on a bus running back and forth between
chasing golf
courses.
Balls. Yeah, that's the way it is. Let's start with the Barbasol, and we start with Jay Morgan.
I'll start with Lucas Glover then, please.
Very good pick. U.S. Open winner playing in Nicholasville, Kentucky. Brian.
Oh, it's my turn. Taylor Pendrith.
Yeah, that's a good one.
John Goen winner last week. John Goen.
I'm trying to rally a little bit here, Seth. I'm trying to just make you feel a little uncomfortable.
I feel it. I feel like Phil Mickelson in 2006 at Wingfoot.
Let's see. How about Kevin Streelman?
It is going pretty much like I thought it would. Great pick so far. Give me Jim Herman. Jay Morgan. Anybody you want.
I'm taking a fella 327th ranked by the name of Peter Quest, Kuest.
And he is on a quest, and it's a great story. Kuest, you got him. Brian.
I will go with Max McGreevy.
Okay. John.
Hey, Brian, I know. I noticed how you really steered clear of a lot of the players in the upper part of this field because of just some pronunciation, which I am doing the exact same thing.
You caught on to what I was doing, John. Very good.
I will take the Knoxville golfer Peter Malnati.
You got him. It leaves from me a guy that played real well early in the year. In fact, 4 rounds in the 60s, and I think it was good for like 14th early in the year at San Diego, or maybe at the Hope. Tyler Werbylow.
Glad I stayed away from that one.
Yeah, I went there. Now for the Scottish Open, Jay Morgan.
I would like Tommy Fleetwood peak. Please, I'm going to leave a lot of top-ranked players on the board there.
Bryant?
I will go with Patrick Cantlay.
John?
Wow.
Tough picking, isn't it?
Well, I mean, there's a lot here now.
It is like Matt Fitzpatrick.
I mean, I guess if you're going to leave Scotty Scheffler, do you not take Scotty Scheffler? I guess that's who you take.
That's your call. So you take Scotty Scheffler, I take Matt Fitzpatrick. That makes it easy. Jay Morgan.
Anybody, or I have to be outside 26
Anybody.
here? Oh, anybody.
Anybody the rest of the way.
Wow, how about that, Jay Morgan? Anybody you want.
Oh, gracious.
You weren't prepared for that.
I'll take, oh, God, am I going to leave the countryman on the board? I am. I'm going to take Terrell Hatton.
You got him? Bryant.
Let's go with Jordan Spieth.
John.
I feel terrible. I'm literally picking 1 and 3 in the world, but I will take Rory.
Take it any way you can get it. Boy, what a team. You only have Scotty Scheffler and Rory McIlroy. That leaves me with the final pick, and I'm going to try Shane Lowry. I've got 2 international players.
I like that. Might be a good pick. But, John, before we let you go, tell us one more time where people can set up a tee time or sign up for y'all's great events.
Yeah, absolutely. So you can call us 662-895-3530. You can visit us at timbertrustgolf.com, or you can follow us on social, both Facebook and Instagram at Timber Trust Golf Course. And of course, like we said, we post everything. You got registration links, especially on the Facebook and Instagram pages. Between reels and everything else we post from either previous events or winners from events, things along those lines. You can find a lot of stuff on our social feed. So, but should be there's a little bit of rain in the forecast potentially for the weekend, but overall shouldn't be too bad. Golf course is in good shape as we recover, but just happy that we got through the 4th of July and through airification, and now we push into as we've talked about, Brett, the favorite time of year, and that's fall golf.
It is.
Absolutely.
It is,
John.
Coming soon. And even after our run ends in August, we'll have you back, Ryder Cup, and that will be in the teeth of the best time of year. Ryder Cup on TV, college football, golf early, golf late, best time of year. John, thank you so much.
Thanks, John.
All right, guys. Y'all have a good weekend. We'll talk next week. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thanks, John. John Goen from Timber Trust Golf. He joins us every week to do some golf talk and make some picks. A lot of golfers to keep up with this weekend.
That was a lot of names, wasn't it?
Sure was.
Tyler Werbylow. Were y'all shocked?
I don't know much about Werbylow.
And Jay Morgan just kind of making it easy for everybody, still staying in the constraints of shock pick, going with Peter Quest. That was a good pick.
I liked Peter Quest quite a bit. I was going to take Taylor Pendrith if no one else was going to, but Bryant scooped him up.
Got him early.
Yeah, had to take Taylor Pendrith. But let's go ahead and get to a break. And when we come back, we'll get back into the baseball conversation. We'll talk about the payrolls in baseball and how do those payrolls, especially the higher payrolls, reflect the current MLB standings. That's next on Sportstime.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Every hour at 117 Prime is happy, but the happiest hours are 4 to 6 in the afternoon because that's the executive happy hour at 117 Prime. During those hours, you can sidle up to the bar and enjoy some $1.50 oysters, and the oysters at Prime are as good as any you'll find anywhere. Then you could toast those oysters with a $5 glass of house wine or $3 domestic beers. If you want to step it up, order yourself one of the $5 craft cocktails made by the experts. All this is waiting for you 4 to 6 at Prime.
Visit Frontier Western Store today for new shirts and boots. Frontier is your top Carhartt store in the Mid-South. There's thousands of in-stock shirts and jeans. They have the classic K87 pocket tee in every color they make, including new ones just released. Available small to 4X. Want new jeans? Frontier has you covered with super tough work denim by Carhartt. And you've got to check out their selection of Ariat jeans for men, women, and children. You'll love how easy it is to find the size and style you need. Have you seen Frontier's remodeled world-famous boot showroom? It continues to expand. New styles by Ariat just arrived, plus plenty of in-stock proven classics too. Whether you need work or dress boots, trust that Frontier's the place to come. See thousands of pairs of Ariat boots and thousands more by Dan Post, Corral, Durango, Rocky, Twisted X, and others. And Frontier's pricing is lower than online and chain stores, so you know just the local shop to visit. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Locally owned and operated since 1967.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure, Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
Listen each and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. and join Ottawild Presbyterian Church for worship. Ottawild is a PCUSA church located in Midtown Memphis.
I have so many people tell me they hear my ads on this station and that they want to know if I'm really as bad a golfer as everyone says. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors, and yes, I hate to say I am. I wish I were in my 90s because I could then tell people I shoot my age. But being a bad golfer is not terrible because I devote so much of my time to selling homes to keep my clients happy. Over the many years in the real estate business, I developed a highly successful strategic marketing program, not merely a listing program. Using preparation, presentation, and proper pricing, it works. If you're thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why people often say that when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn. That's Shell Dunn Rosengarten, 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. Do it now. Shell Dunn, 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
So Major League Baseball All-Star Game. We are. I didn't want to say it, but
did you have our mics open during the break? Because you hear our discussion.
No, what?
5:30. It's. I mean, we're hammering.
Twofold.
It's the Jay Morgan Hammer segment.
The power of hate and pronunciation.
You're the nail. We're the hammer. We're about to go after you. 5:30. So an hour.
You're scared.
From now.
Say you're scared.
If you don't want us to, if we want to take it easy.
I'm not scared yet, but as we get closer to 5:30, I'm sure it'll ramp up a bit.
And you've only been here how many hours? 17, 18?
All day.
That's
all day
right.
long.
Yeah.
I slept here last night.
Yeah, and now people coming at you in the last 30 minutes of your day.
That's
real
okay.
friends.
It's better than the beginning of my day,
Well,
I'll tell you.
Brett, I think we're real friends for hammering them.
It's a
pointing
friendly
these
way.
out. It is.
Only friends could do this.
Jim, we just want you to be better. I mean, that's all it is.
Well, I appreciate it.
I
guess. I'll have to find out later.
You'll have to wait and see. But Major League Baseball, we're about to kind of get back into action Friday night. But, Brett, you brought up a really interesting point, kind of talking about the payrolls in baseball, and we know it's just so different from the other sports and how you can pay players and where that money comes from, giving a handful of teams a real advantage when it comes to signing players.
I don't think you can buy a title, because if you could, the Yankees would have won more recently than 2009. I do think you can punch a ticket to the playoffs.
You can get pretty close. I
think you can buy a raffle ticket to the October party.
Yeah, but I mean, when you look at some of these teams up here towards the top of payroll, I mean, the Mets right there, number one. We know how much they love spending money, and what have they done this year to show for it? I mean, they are in no position right now to make a run for anything. And you even brought up earlier the thought that they could be sellers at the deadline.
I think it's extreme that Pete Alonso and Clayton kind of pushed back on that would happen, but it's out there a little bit. Now it's not among the passing Nightingale, Olney, Kurtjian.
Sure.
It's New York Post, and there are days that I'm not so sure the Post is really printed in English where you can understand it. I mean, because it gets a little wild.
Yeah. But I mean,
$350 million payroll for the Mets, and they're not going to have jack to show for it. Yankees second at 280. Are we sure they're going to be in the postseason? Are we sure?
No.
Got to get Aaron Judge well. When are we going to be so sure about that?
Maybe. I mean, if he comes back, it's going to be close to playoff time.
And, Brian, you know how many times I would remark and deride San Diego. I would ask, I said, when did they find seeds to the money tree? Were they at the lottery? Well, they hadn't hit anything. $247 million. They're not going anywhere. No. Last year's World Series defeated team, the Phillies, $242, right now fourth overall in payroll. I think they squeeze in.
Yes, but they're not there at the top. That's for sure. I mean, it's going to be kind of like how they were last year, where they just barely get in and really have to make that run.
Got to be smart at deadline time.
Yeah.
Like Atlanta was 2 years ago. Fifth overall in spending, the Dodgers, $227. No, and again, if payroll would buy you one, they would have more than that one janky bubble 60-game sprint season.
Yeah. But you're starting to see the Dodgers kind of turn it on and figure things out. I mean, it was a little rough to start the season, but they're right now top of the NL West, and it looks like they're kind of rolling.
No, but it's not the same team as last year, though. It's not like, business as usual back in Los Angeles.
That's true.
The reason why they struggled at the beginning of the year is because, in my opinion, is because this team is not as good as the team last year, so I don't trust them. In fact, I was looking at odds today, and there's some odds for some teams out west. For instance, the Padres, you can get really good money, really good odds to win the division, but to make the playoffs, you can get them at pretty good odds. I'm almost more confident that the Padres at some point can turn it on and start winning than I am that the Dodgers can continue to win. But maybe I'm in the minority of that one.
I don't have that feeling about the Padres.
You're confident in the Dodgers, though?
Not that much, no. But
don't have that
a little more than the Padres. It just doesn't feel like their year. A little bit of the chemistry imbalance from Tatis.
Yeah, but
which might be more of a factor than we let on to begin with. It certainly might be affecting things in the locker room.
Overall, 6 in payroll. The Los Angeles Angels, 217 payroll. It's just a matter of of what all they sell.
Yeah, I mean,
at deadline.
You've got a top 6 payroll, and your star player is saying he's tired of losing.
Not that it'll always equate to But I think a big factor when looking at this that's maybe different in years past too is the things that are valuable are different this year slightly than they've ever been before. For instance, like having fast base runners, the ability to steal bases, get on base and get to the next base. And so maybe over time this will get back to closer to normal, because I think there's probably far more discrepancies this year than in years past between payroll and winning.
Yeah.
I think one of the big things at deadline will be speed and not necessarily closers, but those 7th and 8th inning guys.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, kind of those setup guys.
That's what
for
the
sure.
Braves need, for instance. So there's one team I can think of off the top of my head that is looking to buy something like that.
Number 7 in baseball, Toronto Blue Jays, 213.
Yeah.
I think they make it to the postseason. Braves, 8th, 201. They're there. That's money well spent. Rangers, 9th, well spent money. About $200 million. Astros, 10th, 192 or so. Giants, 11th. Where are they? Add, sell, what at the break?
The Giants are minus 150, I saw today, to make the playoffs.
Really?
No is plus 126. Not to look at everything through a gambling prism.
It seems
but
like that's what this show's really
No, but that
becoming.
is that's reflective of what the public believes about the San Francisco Giants. Clearly, more people think they'll make the playoffs than won't.
Crazy.
And I agree. That's
figure
crazy.
the San Francisco team out.
The gambling angle matters more than baseball tonight because that's people putting real money
That's
down
right.
on it.
That's right.
That's exactly right.
I mean, I love Gammons, Kirkji, and all that. They're not betting a dime.
They're great, but there ain't
instance,
no real money on that.
You mentioned the Blue Jays, a team that people might be a bit skeptical of. That's a tough division as well. The Blue Jays to make the playoffs are minus 205 right now.
Wow.
No is plus 170. I was very surprised by that as well.
That's why I have said for a long time, maybe if it's not him, but he's such a good friend and so very good, somebody like Bruce Marshall, I think, should be on the future college football playoff selection committee. He's got chops. He's got skin in the game. I mean, it's not just out there, go Notre Dame or go Alabama or whatever it is. I mean, he's looking at it from a very financial point of view where it really matters. And since we've already embraced gambling. It's not just allowing it. It's been embraced. Bring somebody like that in to the decision making. So I like the gambling angle matters.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And if you don't want to, you don't have to. I talk a big game. I don't. But if you want to, you can. Number 12, the White Sox, 185.
That's injuries too, though.
That
There's
is.
compounding errors.
New manager.
There. Yeah, new manager.
A lot going on.
I don't mean to jump to a different one. I know you're going in order on the list. Where can I have you jump to where the Cardinals are on that list on the payroll scale?
16.
Well, they're about where they really are in the standings. They're just middle, squishy, not a lot to them. Well, they're not even that in the standings. 161. And the story around St. Louis of, I don't know if it was a one-time payment or if it was overtime, but about a $60 million loss that they've incurred in the Bally's sports collapse.
Wow. Yeah.
That it was the number one Bally's affiliate. It was one of the few things that made Bally's money from baseball.
Really?
I think the Grizzlies did for basketball.
I think so too.
And not many squeezed out a profit for basketball, and the Cardinals needed that. And they're still trying. I think the Cardinal management side of it is not really be that rough on them in public, where they can maybe recoup 50 cents on the dollar and get $30 million.
Yeah.
I'm
That's
afraid they look up and
interesting.
get zipped.
I think so too. I don't know if that's really the challenge I want to be a part of.
Cubs 13th at 183. Red Sox, they were kind of cutting the bottom line a little this year. We knew going into it 14th at 180. All the way down. You're talking about money well spent. Arizona Diamondbacks 21st. Marlins 22nd. Reds 25th. Cleveland 26th. Tampa Bay 28th. And the Baltimore Orioles 29th. They're only spending $68 million.
It's wild. Well, and it's
Yankees have that in Judge, don't they?
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, that's kind of reflective on what you see from these teams. I mean, it's a lot of kind of building from within, getting those prospects. Those are young teams that are kind of the prospects are starting to come up and really shine.
I wish the Cardinals would hire every single person in the Rays front office. I mean,
Rays,
marketing,
D-backs, or Orioles at this
analytics.
point. There's a couple of teams I'll take everybody from.
I don't want anything to do with Peter Angelos with the Orioles, but
yeah.
Down ballot from him and from his son, they've got it figured out in Baltimore. Now they were drafting so right for so many years that they almost couldn't mess up, and they finally didn't. But how the Rays develop now?
Oh my gosh!
We talked about them leaking oil before the break. They needed that. What they got? They got one win over the weekend over the Braves.
Yeah,
Saturday. They needed that.
No, they had to have it. I mean,
otherwise they would have been swept.
And I think that was their first win. I mean, we were
in a while.
9-game losing streak, I believe.
It was to start the month. They hadn't had to win the whole month of July. Now I get we're on the 12th of July, but still, I mean, they were really struggling.
I'm staying with my Cleveland to win the AL Central pick. They usually close better than they start. And
Cleveland to make the playoffs plus 160 today.
Get off.
Really?
I agree. That was
like
the
that
best
a
one I
lot.
saw. I literally put a star next to it. It was the best one I found.
Hinge too, and we hope good health for Terry Francona.
Yeah, hope.
If he's the dugout presence, locker room presence, he's worth barely squeezing out over Minnesota to win that division.
I think you're right, but it's the health concerns are always going to be there for Francona.
I'm afraid so.
Yeah, it's really a shame.
But
But
maybe Cleveland Talk Radio won't spill out all of his personal public health records over there like they did to him in Boston.
Yeah.
He only helped end the curse of the Bambino.
crazy. But maybe, like you said, maybe Cleveland will be a little nicer than Boston was. But, I mean, you talk about Tampa Bay. I mean, I know we talk about it a lot, but we kind of saw that team that is now developing with their AAA system.
We did.
Yeah, I mean, and
First
you're
series
seeing,
back after pandemic. We can
and you're
finally go
seeing
back.
a lot of those guys really starting to step up and become real players for that Tampa Bay team. So it doesn't surprise me at all that they're very low on the payroll and kind of what you've seen in the past of how they develop, getting them to where they are right now. And we'll see if they can finish the season that way.
The Tampa Bay AAA affiliate Durham that year in 21. Last year I thought Gwinnett stood out. This year, Norfolk, the Orioles.
Yeah.
They just look different.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a handful of. I think the Orioles is.
I know that's not great analysis. And I've used that about G.G. Jackson. He just looks different.
But it's true.
If you know, you know.
It's the truth. But I do think, the Orioles, you talk about how young they are. I think you're starting to kind of see that same mold of Tampa Bay where it's really going through, developing them, bringing them up through the system, and then they shine at the major league level. I think you're starting to see that in Baltimore with that AAA team, like you just said.
I mean, I'm in first place in the golf picks for a reason.
You're a smart guy, Brett. You're a smart guy. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
We are real sports talk. Sports 56 WHBQ. Available on your radio dial at 560 AM and 98.5 FM, as well as around the world online at sports56whbq.com. Take us with you everywhere by downloading the Sports 56 app. And at home, just say, Alexa, play Sports 56. Wherever you are, stay tuned in to Real Sports Talk. Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
I'm with John Burgos from the world-famous Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948.
Brett, I want to talk about our seasoning and sauce today. Our sauce is a great blend of sweet, mustard, and vinegar. It's good on so many items other than barbecue. It's good on pizza. People use it in lieu of ketchup. But our seasoning is the original dry rub, created by my father using a mixture of Greek and Cajun spices. People think our sauce and seasoning are good just during the grilling season. Nothing could be further from the truth. It's good year-round. Our seasoning is good on fish, chicken, deviled eggs, corn on the cob, French fries. People even put a dash in a Bloody Mary. To get a complete list of all of our recipes using our products, go to hogsfly.com, click recipes, and you'll see 50 wonderful items and dishes. And Brett, our sauce and seasoning is available at most grocery stores, and if they don't have it, please remind your grocer to stock it. And our slaw is also available at most Kroger stores.
Thank you, John. The Rendezvous, Mr. Charlie Burgos' Rendezvous in the Alley since 1948 and celebrating its 75th year.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets with vegan and gluten-free options available. Convenience and on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brand. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Volunteers today.
I always like it when you go first, Bryant.
Okay, I guess I'll go first today. We'll try something different. My big number today is 25. We just got done with all of the All-Star festivities, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. became the first player to lead Major League Baseball in home runs, win the Home Run Derby, and hit 4 or more Grand Slams, all before turning 25 years old.
It's a heck of an accomplishment.
Sure is.
It's a good big number, too.
Thank you.
My big number, I got a great big number today. It's the rare big number that combines a big number with a high hard one.
Oh.
So my big number today is...
Wow, this is new.
My big number is 75.
Hit the music again. It sounds like we're in a trance.
Yeah, I need some kind of new sound effect.
Yeah.
I need here. Maybe like you said, in trance music. 75 is my big number today. 75 is the win total set for the St. Louis Cardinals for the rest of the year. Minus 110 going either way, so you just pay in the vig. Over or under 75 the rest of the way for the Cardinals. What do you think?
Brett, would you like to go first?
Under.
Yeah, I'll go under.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
I'll take the over.
Take the over.
I'll take the over.
Okay, you'll take the over.
Sell me on it. Based on what?
They have 39 now, and we got to get to 75. I realized that we're a little bit further than halfway through the year, but
75 wins for us?
75 wins.
So we got to get 36 more.
They can't play worse.
Oh, yes, they can. Oh, yes, they can. How long have we been saying that? How many times have we come in here either on, off, there, in private, fussing and cussing about the Cardinals, rock bottom. 4 nights later, we have a new rock bottom.
Yeah. Just wait till
Bats are awake, though. I tell you.
Yeah, but
Bats
just wait
have been
till
awake.
Jake Woodford and Matthew Liberatore are 2 of your starting pitchers in the rotation.
You like Matthew Liberatore.
Did I say I didn't like him?
Yeah, but you slander him like that?
Was that a slander?
Yeah, it
I'm
seems
just
a little
saying.
bit like a slight.
I thought
on
it was
him.
analysis, not slander.
Yeah, thank you, Brett.
It was right, whatever you said.
Thank
Brett,
you.
Brett hasn't given his big number.
No,
yet.
he's not.
I have not.
You're talking too
I
much.
like your Cardinal T-shirt though.
Yeah, Big Mac
That's
on
a
it.
good
Big
one.
Mac.
And your Tiger hat.
Yeah, Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods, not Memphis Tigers.
My big number is 5. 5 of Oklahoma's 7 losses last year was by 1 possession. 4 were 3-point losses, and they missed field goals a couple times in there, or they would have tied. I think they missed a field goal in each of those 3-point losses.
Wow.
OU opens this year against Arkansas State and Butch Jones. I'm not calling anything close to an upset, but then week 2 they play they play Arkansas State, SMU, at Tulsa, at Cincinnati, at Iowa State. They must start 5-0 heading into Red River.
Yeah.
Arkansas State, SMU, at Tulsa, at Cincinnati, home against Iowa State. That's not that tough.
Can I call upset against Butch Jones, or no one's calling upset against Butch Jones?
You calling it straight up?
How about? Nah, I need to know. I need the number.
We need a line.
Red Wolves over Boomer?
I need the number, I think.
Brent Venables could pack if that happened.
Oh, easily. I mean,
And then hire
tomorrow.
Butch Jones. No, I don't think they hire Butch. Brick by brick, baby.
Urban.
Ooh.
It could be Urban.
That would be. That was a great big number, Brett. I did not know that. That was.
I was watching Big 12 Media Days today.
And they threw that out there. I still just can't get over Andre Ware just throwing just shots at Temple. Saying nobody wants to play Temple. We want to play Baylor. It's crazy.
Probably true. Why you got to say it?
Yeah, I mean, what did Temple ever do to you?
Yeah.
I'm just glad he didn't say Memphis.
I saw Andre Ware in his Heisman Trophy winning season, 1989. And by those days, even by now, 45-39, would you call that a shootout now? It sure was, 1989.
Yeah, I think that's a shootout.
I think so.
Against a wishbone team in
Oh,
Arkansas.
the bone.
It's a shootout right there.
Quinn Grovey, Arkansas's analyst now on their radio broadcast.
Sounds like a fun game.
Stayed right there with Andre Ware all night. And wild, fun game in Little Rock.
Sounds like it. Yeah, but it was interesting. I mean, it sounds like you called it yesterday, and I think we'll see more of it tomorrow when Cincinnati and UCF kind of get their moment. But kind of a victory lap for those teams.
Why do you got to trash the other people?
Especially once you're already out. I mean, this is the start of something new. Leave that in
You
the
got
past.
in the new club. Why you got to run the old one down?
Yeah, it seemed very weird. But
with the way conference realignment wheels around, and Memphis to a degree had a dose of this in the Big East. Cincinnati got that. They were in old Big East and looked up, and they were in AAC.
That's right. Yeah. I'm excited to hear what they have to say tomorrow. Obviously, Scott Satterfield in his first year with Cincinnati is going to be a new-look team. Man.
Got the fresh odometer getting out of Louisville.
Yeah, really did. And then
Louisville got the better end of that deal.
They did. They really did. And then Gus Malzahn is already, before media days even started, proclaiming they're one of the 4 elite teams in the state of Florida. So I heard.
Former national champions.
The Big Four, baby.
You know, he wrote a book.
Did he? I didn't know that.
Offense.
How about that? Gus Malzahn won a
He wrote
national
the
championship,
book.
and now he's at a national championship team.
He wrote the book on not throwing the ball past the line of scrimmage.
I want y'all to watch this year. I've never seen a coach. Now, I understand being excited when something goes your way.
Sure.
But when the other team misses a field goal, the Gus celebration on the sideline, like he drew up something for it to go right.
Well, Brett, you got to feel a sense of accomplishment when you call a play where the pass went behind the line of scrimmage and you still scored a touchdown. How many times can I make the same joke in this segment about Gus Malzahn about how he doesn't call plays that throw the ball past the line of scrimmage?
I like it.
I think it's a good
JRP running quarterback.
That's
John
right.
Rice Plumlee.
He's going to be there tomorrow. We'll get to hear from him tomorrow
Love
at Media
John
Days.
Rice Plumlee.
9 quarterbacks at Big 12 Media Days.
Really?
Out of 14 teams.
Wow. My favorite thing.
SEC, take note. I want to hear what
For
Robbie
real.
Ashford has to say at Media Days.
And 5 players from each school.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. My favorite thing from John Rice Plumlee is earlier this spring when he played in a baseball game against the Tigers, played half the game, and then ran out, got on a golf cart to go play in the spring game for UCF football, and then they made a video that went viral. That was a lot of fun.
Just a gamer, man.
Had a double in that game,
He's
I think.
a gamer.
He sure is. Let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back to start the 5 o'clock hour, Bill King from WNSR in Nashville will join us to talk some college football. That's next.
Simple, smooth, and every sip as easy as the last. Tito's handmade vodka tastes just as good with tap water as it does with your favorite mixer. Back in the day, Tito distilled, hand-bottled, taste-tested, sent to a few friends, then taste-tested again to give you the finest juice around. No frills, no flavors, no fancy labels, just the good stuff. Just Tito's. For recipes, videos, and more, visit Tito'sVodka.com. Distilled and bottled in Austin, Texas, 40% alcohol by volume, namely 80 proof, crafted to be savored responsibly.
We're going abroad for the first time in years. To Spain. So we started using Babbel.
And started learning Spanish fast.
With Babbel, you can start having conversations in another language in just 3 weeks.
¿Cómo te llamas?
¿Cómo te llamas?
When you learn a language, you want to actually use it. Babbel is designed with that goal in mind.
In just 3 weeks, we're starting to have conversations in Spanish. Gracias, Babbel.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free at Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
If you're hiring, it can feel like trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. Like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Now try ZipRecruiter free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/FREE.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/joy. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands at up to 95% off. That's right, get generic for Viagra, the same active ingredient as brand name Viagra, but for 95% less. It's the same medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/joy. That's 4hims.com/joy for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/JOY.
Buying a diamond here in Memphis just got a lot easier and a lot less expensive. Hey, it's Eric Hasseltine from the Memphis Grizzlies, and I'm excited to tell you about Genesis Diamonds, now open at Poplar Commons. This is a game-changing concept that will forever change the jewelry scene right here in Memphis. With a gorgeous showroom and a selection that's up to 30 times ordinary stores, no middleman markups, direct importer pricing, and the strongest warranties and guarantees in the industry. This is a revolutionary concept. Genesis Diamonds was started by a former diamond wholesaler who decided to stop selling diamonds to jewelry stores and instead go straight to the public without those ridiculous retail markups. All this with a selection that's up to 30 times ordinary stores. No commission salespeople, no stress, no pressure, free service for life on any purchase. Don't buy a diamond engagement ring or any diamond jewelry anywhere until you discover this exciting new concept. Genesis Diamonds, now open in Poplar Commons at Poplar and Perkins Extended.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 560 AM and 98.5 FM. Your Mid-South Sports Station.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis. Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy, Jay Morgan Harder with you, and joining us now to talk some college football from WNSR in Nashville. Bill King joins us now. Bill, thank you so much for joining us. How are you doing this afternoon? I'm sure definitely ready for college football season. They'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, guys, appreciate it. Good to be here.
We're glad to have you, Bill King. And Bill King, in the 90s, it felt like really from after Peyton Manning's freshman year at UT, we were all on national championship watch for the Big Orange, for Philip Fulmer, for Peyton Manning. Peyton didn't get that national championship. T. Martin got it in 98. Do you feel any parallels to now with Josh Heupel to then with Philip Fulmer?
Well, I think the program is in remarkably good shape. Shockingly, way further along than I would have predicted 3 years ago, right, when Coach Heupel took over. An amazing transformation from a roster that literally was just junk. I mean, so many transfers and everybody bailing and the NCAA cloud hovering over you. So the fact that in year two they had a chance, a really good chance, to get to the playoffs, won 11 games is remarkable. Do I think there's a parallel yet that they're on the verge of a national championship? No, I don't think the roster is deep enough. I think they've got holes to fill. They're certainly way ahead of schedule, but no, I don't think they're roster-wise where they need to be yet. And probably mostly defensively, I would say.
Yeah. Well, what do you expect from Joe Milton this year? A lot of excitement about what he can do after seeing him in the Orange Bowl last year and the success Hendon Hooker had before him, bringing back some big-time receivers from that team last year. What do you think Joe Milton can do in this offense?
Well, I've been a critic through the years. First of all, his Michigan career, very inconsistent. His biggest problem is monster arm, but can't spot the ball. He is inaccurate, and that's been a problem. And he got replaced by Hendon Hooker, in essence, for that. Now, there was an injury there, but yes, he got replaced, never got the job back. I will give him credit. I've been a critic, but he looked really good in the Vandy game. I understand who the opponent was, and he looked very good in the Clemson game. So it looks like they've refined that a bit. And, guys, he's got everything you would sculpt. He's 6'5", he's 250. You see all those videos of him throwing at 80 yards out of the stadium, whatever he's doing. If he's accurate, then I think they have a chance. He's plus a guy that size, he's a good athlete. I mean, he can run and hurt you in the running game. Maybe not like Hooker, but he's tough in the running game too. And he's bigger than anybody on the field other than the defensive lineman. So, but the superstar guy is Nico Iamaleava, and he's the freshman. In the perfect world, you don't throw him in. You don't have to throw him in because Milton's playing well. If he has to play, you're going to see a spectacular talent. I'm talking about a first-pick kind of talent, perhaps, but he's raw. And you would prefer to kind of let's go a little slow there before we have to do it.
So then with Iamaleava, then we would probably get closer to drawing the 90s Manning parallels with him.
The kid is literally unlimited in what he can do. He's 6'6", I'd say he needs to put on a little weight. If you see him standing by Milton,
Sure.
it looks like 50, 60 pounds. Now, they're the same height, but so, and he doesn't, I don't think he's as big physically, but he's 6'6", about 205, and that might be ambitious. Now, I don't know what's happened this summer. They may have put some more meat on him, which I'm sure they wanted to, and maybe he's playing 218, 220, which he's so long, he looks lean at that weight too. But, guys, any arm talent, any passing game, any type fast break offense, he can run it. He's very devastating in the running game. The guy is a remarkable talent. You're not going to get your hands on much more talent than that.
Does he play this year other than in doomsday scenario, or does he get in there and maybe by the end of the year they don't wait as long as Dabo waited to go with Klubnik?
Well, they'll make a move if they have to because the head coach is a quarterback guy, right? And he's that's what his number one PhD is the quarterback, right?
Yeah.
So it depends. If Milton is playing well, I think they get him reps because of the future. But in the perfect world, which we know that's not where we exist, you don't have to force him in there. And you get him reps, quality, or some decent reps, right, in games. But coach, you got to remember, coaches a lot of times will plan on, I'm going to get this guy in there. And once they get in the game, they tighten up. Coaches do that all the time. You hear about a young guy that's going to get in. We got to get him some reps. They get in the game and they tighten up. They always tighten up. So you have to be careful there. But, yeah, I mean, if he's got to go, he's got to go. Now, the problem is now you've got an injury problem because if let's say Milton goes down with an injury and you get to him, you're one injury away from losing more games that you probably shouldn't lose.
Sure. Well, outside of Tennessee and in this area locally, when it comes to the SEC, Ole Miss is right there of kind of the fan base. And when you look at this Ole Miss team, I've kind of seen there's a lot of people that think this team could be really good this year. There's a couple people that think that this team might be not as great as they've been in the past. And when you look at what they did last year, losing 5 of their last 6 games to end the season, what do you expect from Lane Kiffin this year?
Top story is obviously Mr. Dart at quarterback. I believe he had some meniscus work done, but I think he should be ready. And then you have Spencer Sanders, who is a extremely hot and cold quarterback from Oklahoma State. When he's hot, dude, he's in basketball, he can get you 30, right? And when he's not hot, he
shoot you out of the game.
for 11. Yeah, he may be sitting on the bench because he's not, the ball's not dropping. But he is a very good talent, and he's a veteran. This guy's been through everything, right? And then you have Walker Jones, and he's probably the most upside talent they've got from LSU, the transfer, and famous Walker Howard, I think I should have said. But anyways, his dad, Jamie Howard, many years ago at LSU legacy. That's the top story. Now, the other story is I think they've got the best running back in America. Quentin Judkins, just a 3-star, guys, was phenomenal a year ago. And I saw a listing at Blackform, Michigan, #1, who's a heck of a dude. I wouldn't take him over Quentin Judkins. So you've got a feature super back there at tailback, just a sophomore. And if he just plays as well as he did, I'm not even asking for a lot of improvement, then you've got a serious, significant threat there. I would say he's the top back in the SEC, and then Rocket Sanders at Arkansas, the big back out of Florida for Arkansas, is probably number 2.
Bill, I want to be fair. Just 1 year at the Swamp for Billy Napier. But Billy Napier passed on a lot of jobs through the years that his name was in the mix for, waiting for the right spot. He was even a little miffed that LSU went Brian Kelly over him right there at Louisiana with the Raging Cajuns. But he gets Florida, and last year was not very good outside of opening night. I'm getting to this, Bill. If this time next year, if it's been a struggle, and it's a struggle into the 3rd year, when are we going to get to all those years we thought Florida was so easy that it really wasn't, that only Spurrier and Meyer could do it, that it's chewed through a lot of other mere mortals?
He walked into probably the poorest talent-wise Florida roster, top to bottom. Now, Anthony Richardson obviously can be a star and he can be overrated too, but you felt good about Richardson eventually getting that quarterback job and taking it in this last year. But the overall roster is in bad condition because Dan Mullen does not appreciate recruiting, and Florida has to be a recruiting ranking school. It should be a law that you ought to be ranked in the top 5 just by virtue of being in Florida and your geographical location is a huge advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Everything you need is in your state, and you also have all the financial resources to do anything you need to do. So there's no excuses. If they struggle this year, remember they got to go to Utah. That's out of conference. They got to play Florida State, who's going to be a significant favorite over them. Florida State's a top 10 talent team right now, and going to play LSU in one of the best openers we're going to have this year. And they also have to play what's considered one of the top 3 toughest schedules, not just in the SEC, but America. It's going to be tough. He could be limping into that next year into 24, and he may not get fairly judged, but I think it's going to be a tough year this year.
Yeah. Bill, I was watching the Big 12 Media Days earlier today, and this was kind of the first time publicly those 4 new schools were announced in the Big 12, BYU, Cincinnati, UCF, and Houston. For those 4 teams, how difficult do you think it will be year 1 in the Big 12? We saw kind of the preseason media polls come out. I think 3 of the 4 were in the bottom 4 on that list. How difficult will this first season be?
UCF's got a chance to be top, since we got 14 teams until Texas know you leave. I said they have a chance to be in the top half.
Yeah.
Houston probably should. Dana Holgerson has been there now a few years. BYU, of course, now their quarterback's going to be Keaton Slovis, who's quarterback USC, Pitt, and now BYU,
everywhere.
Cincinnati. Yeah, I think it's going to be tough for more than 2 of them to be in the top 8, top 10 or something like that in year 1. But here's the thing. They can now sell, and they've been selling it the last year, the Big 12 brand.
That's right.
And that's significant. I mean, that sells, man. That brand, remember about 12, 13 years ago, that league looked dead. It's arguably the 3rd best league right now. And they could go out and sell that in recruiting. And you want to talk about UCF is one of those teams that has an incredible geographical location with 50-something thousand students. You can get dudes there.
Absolutely.
And Houston has the Fertitta money, which is billions. So they just put up $300 or $400 million in facilities. They've got resources. TCU already there. They've got resources. Those are some schools that could really in the future rise up and stay up, which is hard to do.
Bill, that's just a great point about the Fertitta money. Not only is it Fertitta money, but it's also a casino thrown in that Fertitta money. So, I mean, how do you not keep it rolling with that? Bill King's our guest, the very familiar voice in this market and, of course, in the market of Nashville at WNSR. Has the torch been passed from Nick Saban to Kirby Smart?
Sure looks like it. I wouldn't bet, speaking of Tunica, I wouldn't bet too much on it, but it looks like it. They're more stable than Alabama right now. They've got better players. They've got dudes. Alabama guys. Now, Alabama might go 11-1 and win the national championship, right? But they've got more answers that they need to come up with than I can recall. Quarterback. We need some answers there. We're not sure the way that's going to look. And if they trot Jalen Milroe out there first, we got a problem with the passing game. They've got a problem with feature receivers, which used to never be a problem. That's a problem. We've got a problem with their offensive line run blocking. They don't bully people anymore in the run game. They absolutely do not. They have a problem with dudes on the defensive line by their standards. They don't line up and just whip you up front with D tackles anymore. They've got a problem with athleticism at the linebacker position. Outside of Kool-Aid McKinstry, they got a problem with coverage. Now, guys, it's Alabama, and they just had the number 1 recruiting class. And for all I know, they answer every one of those, right? It's Alabama, but there's a whole lot of questions that have to be answered under Nick Saban this year.
Was it Sir Isaac Newton and gravity that got Bama, or was it Kirby Smart?
We used to have a guy that called my show from Houston who worked for NASA, and he had a saying he would always end with, "Gravity is a harsh mistress."
That's
true, right?
That is
That's
great.
a really. That's what they would say. I know they would say that at NASA. I think it's a cup twofold. Kirby Smart was there, knows what it's like to go back to back, knows what it's like to go 3 in a row to try it because they won it in 11 and 12. Kirby was there on the defense. And right now, Kirby is out developing the players at Georgia better than Alabama.
Yeah.
And along the lines of scrimmage, Georgia's offensive line is probably the best O-line coming up this year. They've always got dudes on the defensive line, right? And they coach them well. Now, they got to replace coordinators, certainly on the offensive side of the ball, and that's going to be interesting. Carson Beck's probably going to be the quarterback who trots out there first. Quarterback talent isn't a problem, but you got to admit, when talking about Stetson Bennett, he might not have looked walking down the street like he was a dude, right? But one thing Stetson Bennett did that he doesn't get credit for, think about it, guys. Anytime there was a game, and the quarterback's one of his main jobs is to fix things, right? You come to the line of scrimmage, you're in the huddle, your job is to get things fixed, right? He did it. Think about it. I mean, in the Ohio State game, you're dead. You are absolutely dead. He fixed it. In the Missouri game, when they're playing like crap at Missouri, and it's the second half and you're down, he fixed this thing. You don't know if a quarterback can do that until they play. And we haven't seen the other quarterbacks have that. You're going to have those moments where either your dude fixes it or not.
Yeah.
The unthinkable question, biggest figure in the history of Georgia Bulldogs football, Stetson Bennett or Herschel Walker?
Well, that's Herschel. Herschel's the best college player I've ever seen. Now, I'm biased because I'm aging. My freshman year was 1980. I was there at Neyland when he tried it out there.
Same, Bill.
Yeah. I was
well, you were there for the
Neyland.
debut. Wow.
Yeah, I was there. I was already a recruiting freak back then as a kid, and I was number one ranked guy in America. He's at Georgia. They weren't really well off at running back. They didn't hardly even play him the first half of that first game against Tennessee, and then he took over second half, and the rest is history. I watched him when he walked out of the tunnel for the very first time. I was affixed to him, so I'm biased. I think that's the best dude ever.
Wow.
College player. Yeah.
From Wrightsville, Georgia, Johnson County High. And Bill, back then you did, and you were ahead of your time in the recruiting world, and really helped to fashion it into the phenomenon that it became. But even back then, we all knew of number 43 switching to 34 at Georgia, Herschel Walker from Wrightsville.
And Wrightsville, a tiny single-A school. So one of the critiques is, He's 6'2", and he runs a 10-1 and whatever. But he played against linemen that probably weren't his size. He can't do it. Well, oh well.
It's incredible. That's incredible. Bill, one of the kind of biggest topics over the last couple of years in college football has been expansion. What's going to happen here locally in Memphis? A lot of people are kind of tuned into what will happen with the Big 12. Will they expand again, and will Memphis be one of those schools? Before the Pac-12, everyone says that that's kind of the first domino, is what happens with the Pac-12. Do teams leave there and go to the Big 12? Do they stay intact? What do you think ultimately happens to the Pac-12 over the next 2 to 3 years?
I don't think we have a nuclear bomb like 2 summers ago, SEC Media Days, and the A&M guy breaks the story that Texas and Oklahoma are coming. That was just crazy. And then last summer it was Southern Cal, UCLA. I don't think we have anything like that unless Notre Dame were to make a move, and I don't think that happened for the moment. That's easily the biggest brand out there. So here's some possibilities. I'd give it about a 20-30% chance in the moment, and that is the Pac-12 continues to not have a future media agreement, which they don't, and this has been going on for a while. And somebody like Colorado, and Rick George, the AD there, I know from his Vanderbilt days, gets impatient. Deanna will have something to say about that too, and they bail, and they go to the Big 12. And basically, here's the metaphor I use on my show. The Pac-12 is sitting there, and they're wobbly, right? It's very dense where they're at right now. And the Big 12 is like a buzzard in the desert waiting for that to keel low. That's exactly what's going on. And now, again, I'd give you about a 20% chance of that right now. 5 years from now, I don't know if they exist as a league. But this summer, I don't know if that's going to happen. I know that the mood is we've got to keep this together. We've got to keep it together. And I believe them there. But if that gets even shakier, and they don't get a media deal, and they don't have a new grant rights. That was some article. They talked about it. That doesn't mean anything. There's no signed document. So you can bail right now. Could that trigger a seismic type move where the Big Ten says, okay, we really don't need Oregon. and Washington, but we might as well go get them because it's fracturing out there. And the SEC says we don't really need Florida State and Clemson, but we might as well take them. We don't want the Big Ten coming down here. I do think the Big Ten will come down here and try and get Miami. But, guys, we're going to need the Earth's tectonic plates to be getting really angry and rubbing really hard for that to happen. Right?
And they could. And it sure could happen.
Again, I want to say about 20%. That might be a little high. But if you're a fan out there listening to us here, and you want some action like you got the last 2 years with these news bits, that's the one right there.
That's a good take. Bill King, you mentioned your age. You mentioned you were a freshman at UT, fall of 1980, the night of Larry Munson introducing the world to he's just a freshman. Herschel Walker, for you personally, on today, July the 12th, where's your college football, I can't wait for it to get here, barometer say to where it was in 1980?
Since I do this every day for the last 40 years, it seems like, and my mind, for whatever reason, my dad was a doctor, my mom was a nurse. They did not take me to ball games, so I was not programmed to do any of this. Right? It just happened. I just came out that way, and I love it. I think about it every day, all day. So, see, I don't have this yearning like fans do that I got to get to that first game because the non-playing portion of the season is what we call it. We don't call it the off season because there is no off season. The non-playing portion of the season, I'm thinking about this stuff when I'm in the garden, right? I'm on a mower. I'm thinking about it. So I would say that LSU Florida State game right out of the chute is just a phenomenal way to get going. Both top 10 teams, both veteran quarterbacks who transferred in. That's going to be fun. So I'd probably say I'm most anxious about that.
Yeah. You're like me in that non-playing portion of the year. It's always football. I'm always thinking of it. People ask me how do I prepare for the college football season. I never start. It's endless. And Bill, I have to have this.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I know.
I don't have to have radio. I have to have college football.
Right. And when they trot out there and you're looking at them and you see all the jerseys and the various teams and everybody's excited and about half of everybody's lying about the way the off season went when they talk about how good the weight program was,
especially
how great
the
freshmen are. Yeah. A lot of those are lies. And that's the other thing. You ever notice what you think in like a March about the next year in your head, and then you actually get on the field? Isn't it fun to kind of go, oh, whoa, I didn't say that. I mean, I didn't see that happening right there.
You mentioned earlier.
It's fun.
Most of us had not even heard of Quinshon Judkins a year ago right now.
At all.
And nobody had heard of Johnny Manziel that year.
I had not, until he got there. I heard about a guy in Alabama who was a 3-star that Kiffin would sit alone in the stands watching and all that. But I didn't know, and certainly didn't know he would explode like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'll give you another one this year for Ole Miss. Maybe not to the Judkins breakout last year, but true freshman running back this year, Kedrick Riscano.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And they do. Look, you have to have running backs plural because those guys get beat up.
Yeah.
Everybody gets beat up, and I've seen teams with 3 and 4 running backs, and they're happy and we're deep, and you get into October, and one guy's healthy, and you're panicked.
Yeah.
So, yes, you got to have dudes. Here's the other thing. True freshman running backs can play faster than any other position. It's just a fact.
Yeah, they definitely do. But, Bill, this was a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us. Let's definitely do this again soon.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Thank you,
Thanks,
Bill.
Bill King talking college football with us from WNSR in Nashville.
The non-playing portion of the year.
That.
Can I steal that?
He dropped a lot. It was
like I stole Burmonts from John.
Yeah, I think you can. I think we'll
it's so
allow
true.
that. But there were a couple of sayings in there and things listeners called in and said that I was like, that's funny. That's a good one.
I mean, you heard the passion there, and to be there, I got to tell that story about Herschel Walker's opening night. So no proliferation of TV like it is now. No TV for that game. And again, I'd heard about this phenom they have at Georgia and what he might be like. And Jay Morgan, it was the same Saturday night on TV. Was a classic night at the U.S. Open. I think McEnroe versus Borg, but classic night on TV at the U.S. Open. And me with my radio, I'm having to listen to John Ward because I can't get Larry Munson in the Georgia network, but listening to John Ward and this breakout freshman. And then the next day, the whole country knew about
learning
Herschel
who
Walker.
he is. Yeah,
And
that's
then
incredible.
It was off and running.
That's incredible.
But he just won one. Stetson Bennett won two.
It's a good point. I mean, Brett, you make a good argument for it. I mean, what is it? What's the other argument? Oh, about Atlanta Braves and this Braves generation.
Now, Stetson Bennett did not win a Heisman.
Right.
He did not finish third. He did finish third last year, though, didn't he?
Oh.
But look, Brett, you
I
put
think so.
his rings in a box, and you put Herschel's rings in a box, and whose box
Shake 'em
has more
around.
rings?
Got two.
Stetson.
In one box.
Stetson's down.
You do.
Two-ring soup.
Herschel finished third as a freshman for the Heisman, second as a sophomore, won it as a junior, and would have joined Archie Griffin if it hadn't been for the USFL and signing with him.
That's incredible.
It'd been a landslide his senior year to win it.
That's incredible. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch has an offer you can't refuse. They will pay you to do business with them if you want luxury. And I'm talking the Genesis G70 car. If you would love to have that kind of new technology, they will give you a $1,000 rebate when you finance with Genesis Motor Finance. In other words, they'll pay you $1,000 to do business with them, and you get brand new luxury. You can't beat it. That's Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis, right at the corner of Craft Road and Highway 78 in Olive Branch. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis in Olive Branch, where customer retention is amazing. There's a reason. They take care of you with a team that's been together for a long time. Whether it's finance or whether it's service, you can't beat them. Homer Skelton Hyundai Genesis.
Hey gang, King Curly here talking about Hotsy of Memphis. Located at 2732 Old Austin P, is now hiring. We are the leader in industrial cleaning equipment, accessories, detergents, and car detailing supplies, and we need qualified mechanics and salespeople to join our winning team. Mechanics need a basic understanding of small engine repair, electronics, and product assembly. Sales applicants need basic computer skills, communication skills, and have a professional attitude. We offer competitive pay, benefits, and weekends off. Applicants must have a valid driver's license and be drug-free. Dress for success and apply in person at 2732 Old Austin P in Memphis. Hotsy of Memphis. Come join the area's leading pressure washing and detail supply team. Hotsy, 2732 Austin P in Memphis.
O'Reilly Auto Parts provides more than just the right parts for your repair. Our professional parts people can also offer free check engine light diagnosis. We can scan your vehicle and provide a list of possible fixes. Find the right parts for you or recommend a great local repair shop. Don't ignore your check engine light. Stop by your local O'Reilly Auto Parts.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Did you know a percentage of accidents are because people are texting and driving at the same time? If you've been hit by a driver texting and not paying attention to the road, call the law offices of Arthur Horn III. You probably know them for their big cases, but they know your case is big too. Let them represent you. Join the winning team at the law offices of Arthur Horn III. Call today, Arthur Horn III, 901-331-1816. That's 901-331-1816. And please, don't text and drive.
Is your roof leaking? Do you have water damage on your ceiling of your home or business? Do you need assistance gathering much-needed data and images from your storm-damaged roof for an insurance claim? Call Metro Builders, roof and restoration specialists, and schedule your free inspection. At Metro Builders, our team of Hague-certified technicians and fully trained estimators are ready to come out and evaluate any concerns you may have. Metro Builders Roof and Restoration. We accept all insurance carrier scopes. Call Metro Builders now. Each and every day, we provide clients many different types of data and estimates for their insurance carrier. These include estimate and photo reports of all damage, from the roof to water damage on rafters and ceilings and even studs and plates inside walls. Check out the local BBB for our 27-year history in construction in Memphis, or check us out online today at metrobuildersmemphis.com. That's metrobuildersmemphis.com for your local residential and commercial roofing and restoration experts. Call me. 901-375-1717. That's 901-375-1717.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Are you ready to conquer the great outdoors? Come in today and gear up with the dependable Suzuki King Quad ATV, because there's no rest for the rugged. Its unparalleled combination of power, versatility, and reliability allow you to tackle the toughest terrains with ease. And right now, there are lots of ways to help you hit the trail, including low APR financing and low monthly payments for qualified buyers, discounts for the military and first responders, and more. Roll into Olive Branch Motorsports in Olive Branch, Mississippi, and experience the Suzuki King Quad ATV's unmatched capabilities today.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Jay Morgan, you feeling nervous?
You pointed at me. I pointed at you.
You pointed at me. I pointed at you.
I mean, that's what I do as a producer. Is I point at you.
Well, you pointed at me before even the rejoin music started playing.
You sound crazy.
Full assault and attack on you's coming.
Yeah, you're trying to deflect from the attack on you.
Oh.
First off, you're wearing your watch the wrong way.
Excuse me?
That's first attack.
Okay.
It's like the wrong way. You have it on
Explain
your
why
outer
it's the wrong way.
wrist. It's on your inner wrist, and the face is on your inner wrist and not on your outer wrist.
People wear watches like that.
I never wear a watch.
Particularly in the armed forces, people wear watches like this.
Used to always.
Are you in the armed forces?
I'm not, but I would like to emulate those that serve our country.
TYFYS?
They got too hot for me, and I've got a clock here.
I
used to feel naked without a watch on.
I'm with you, Brett. I despise watches.
I've never seen him wear one.
I don't like watches at all. I don't wear it at all. I had this Apple Watch here.
I used to wear a Cardinals watch. It would take me out to the ball game.
You're kidding. That's awesome.
But I do a good bit of exercise, and I've gotten a little bit intense, and I'm also I like to track things and stuff like that. And I can track a lot of stuff with the Apple Watch here, so I'm doing that.
You certainly are a numbers guy, Jay Morgan.
I don't know if I'm a numbers guy. I just like tracking stuff.
Apple Watch, does it keep up better than iPhone?
No, Apple Watch is useless. I mean, it's
it's good for
exercise.
When it comes
but
to like steps and stuff, it's better than.
It's good for like exercise and stuff like that. But that's how
today I'm at 5,600 steps.
5,600.
You track that on your phone?
Uh-huh.
Then never mind. Then you don't need this.
I'm at 5,255.
I think the Apple Watch is like an exercise tool. It's like the anything else, but it's not like the fact that they call it a watch is very misleading. I guess it does tell time, but it really is. It's just an exercise tool. Unless you're exercising regularly, you don't need an Apple Watch.
Today, 2.4 miles walked. Yesterday, 3.6. Monday, 4.6.
Wow.
And you're tracking all that on your phone, so you don't need an Apple Watch anyway, Brad.
And this is an old phone. This is
it is an old phone.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it is. I'm going new soon.
Okay. All right.
Apple Watch, I'm tracking like heart rate and things of that nature.
Yeah. All right, Jay Morgan.
And how heart rate fluctuates over the course of a workout.
Walking step
what gets me going,
24.4 inches.
Wow, that's a good stride.
That is a good stride.
It's a heck of a stride you got there, Brett.
But I could have told you that without the phone.
It's a good-looking stride.
Yeah.
Walking asymmetry, 0.47%.
That sounds very symmetrical or asymmetrical, depending on what you want to be.
Whatever all that
I'm just going to be positive regardless.
Jay Morgan, we make our picks every week. And
you should be in the lead.
You're in last place right now.
Yeah, that's right.
You should be in first.
But
you know what got you?
What?
You got in front of yourself. Your hatred.
No, that's I was thinking about this. No, Brett said this to me last week, and I was thinking about it. So let me finish
Please explain to everybody.
So
what
Brooks
we're talking
Koepka,
about.
the hubris would be
he was there.
It's because I hate Brooks Koepka. I wouldn't pick him, but he wasn't playing particularly good golf necessarily.
At the Masters.
Good point.
Yeah, but
he loves his
majors.
But
that was, you could call that a one-off though. I mean, he was playing hurt golf.
Big game Brooks Koepka.
He was playing hurt golf up until that point too, and also it's
tracking what he's doing in live events.
No, that's why he went to live, though, is because he was injured.
I know. That was a year ago.
He hadn't played any competitive golf before until that point, until he got second at the Masters.
He is nervous. He's kind of coming at us when we're coming at him.
What else were we going to get on him about?
Pronunciation.
Because I shouldn't have picked the one guy that won. It's a field of so many different people. They all are long shot odds. I should have picked this one guy. I'm not having that. No, sir.
Should have picked Brooks.
Terrell Hatton or Tyrrell Hatton?
Terrell.
You got a pronunciation guide? You're certain of that?
Yeah, Terrell. It's like I've heard it Terrell, but Terrell.
I thought it just went Tyrrell.
I can't help. I'm the worst when it comes to pronunciation.
Terrell Hatton, Terrell
And I said
Hatton.
we should check this before we
We
wrongly
didn't.
Yeah,
we did. That's our fault.
So maybe we didn't come at you like
I'm
we
ready
thought
for
we were
it. I'm just
You
ready
swatted
for
it away.
I'm
You
ready
just
for my
swatted it away.
defense. Well, you allowed me to get my guard up, and the problem is
We
shouldn't have
have
You
done
should have
that.
blindsided me. You should have just blindsided me.
Yeah.
Then I could have maybe been off my game or something like that.
Yeah, that's our fault.
That was ready to go. You're not gonna get me.
Used to the baseball All-Star break, if not all, most would start tomorrow night on Thursday night. Now they have the extra day uniformly across the sport. We will miss it tomorrow night.
It's going to be hard to bet on Friday, too.
It is.
Not that we need to view everything through a gambling prism, but it's hard to predict what's going to happen. Your default is going to be you're going to pick the best teams to beat the worst teams. And also their form doesn't necessarily matter as much because they've had so much time off.
Whole week
a
off.
whole lot of
Yeah.
variables. A whole lot of variables that you don't have on a regular night bet in Major League Baseball,
Do you
which is already hard
reset the
enough.
staff like opening day with your first guy, or do you keep it in the order that it ended?
I don't think so because Garrett Cole was scheduled to go Saturday, I believe.
Oh, really?
And so I don't think so. Maybe it's not
Interesting.
universal. Maybe
yeah,
I
it might
shouldn't
be
say.
a team by team. I have no idea.
But I don't believe so.
Interesting.
The question I asked Bill King about poised for national championship at Tennessee, do y'all feel like we're on the verge of it? Do you think Tennessee's close?
Can you say anybody's close? I mean, Georgia and Alabama are so far ahead of
point.
everybody else.
I think they're as close as they've been. I mean,
TCU had a hell of a year last year. I mean,
LSU closer than Tennessee, or Tennessee closer than LSU?
It's hard to say. LSU hadn't shown it on the field, but everyone says they've got
that quarterback.
They've got the horses. Who's the quarterback?
Jalen Daniels.
And he's the kid from
Arizona State.
Arizona State.
Great year last year.
Yeah.
Might be a little early for
And
Tennessee.
a lot of
but
people are high
I'm
on
going
him.
deep with Tennessee.
Tennessee has shown a product on the field that makes you believe they can win. LSU is kind of
well,
I guess Brian Kelly's shown it with another school, but he's never necessarily shown it
Never
at
closed the deal.
At LSU. Well, and never closed the deal, too. But that speaks to why it's so hard to say Tennessee can win a national championship, because how in the world are you supposed to go through Alabama and Georgia?
That Bama team that put it on Notre Dame, the year Notre Dame entered the game 12-0.
Manti Te'o? Is that the Manti Te'o season?
it.
Poor guy.
Well, looking at this LSU team, I mean, obviously you're bringing back Jaden Daniels, but I mean, Tennessee's bringing back more offensive weapons than LSU is this year, and we've kind of seen that high up-tempo offense Tennessee
better on
runs.
defense.
That's the thing. You got to see the defense kind of round into form.
Who was the Notre Dame quarterback? Brady Quinn? No, that wasn't the Brady
No,
Quinn.
no.
That
It
was
was,
way before that. Because Brady Quinn played against Reggie Bush.
Yeah.
It was not.
He had a tough night. 2012.
There was a Clausen that was a Notre Dame quarterback. Wasn't there?
No, but Alabama just dominated them all night. It could have been worse.
Yeah. I don't know who the quarterback was.
No.
I was trying to look it up real quick.
I looked up Notre Dame national championship quarterback. Of course, Joe Montana comes up. Well, that's not what I'm looking for. Yeah, that's right.
That's not what I'm looking
2012 quarterback for Notre Dame. That'd get it for you.
What year?
Everett Golson. Oh, man. Tommy Reese was his backup. How about that?
How about that?
No, Tommy Reese was the year before. I'm sorry.
I was about to say.
Tommy Reese now at Bama.
Yeah, and took a Notre Dame quarterback with him. What do you think ultimately happens with the Alabama quarterback?
I thought Bill King hit it right on the nose. With if it's Milroe out there opening day, then you kind of lose something in the passing game because he's predominantly a running quarterback. And if you have Ty Simpson out there, you might lose everything in the running game.
Yeah.
And him maybe not be able to be as proficient at throwing the ball. It is the biggest question mark at Alabama quarterback in the Saban years, because you knew his first year there that John Parker Wilson was going to start.
Right.
JB Dub.
And maybe it wasn't wasn't great that first year. Was the second year.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I mean, Jalen Milroe is an unbelievable athlete. I mean, he's shown that.
But A&M defended that pretty well.
They did. Do you think is there any thought of putting Buckner back there to start the year, and then maybe Simpson, you can kind of bring him along later? Because he's real young, but seems to be the quarterback of the future. Could you bring him along later?
Bama had quarterback questions the year that they won it with Jake Coker, so there were maybe this year is more parallel to that. But if Buckner goes in, how did Notre Dame let him leave? If he can do it at Bama and in the SEC, how do you let him get out of town?
But is he really doing it, or is he just a placeholder?
Yeah.
I'm looking at this roster from Notre Dame. Zach Martin and his brother Nick. Tyler Eifert was a tight end.
The Golick brothers.
Mike Golick Jr., center, backup tight end, his brother.
Wow.
Yeah, sure was. And that's the team that, and I understand, proud father, but Mike Golick, as long as he was at ESPN, even after that hammering they took in that bowl game or the national championship game, he would refer to that year as the year my boys were on the Notre Dame team that went undefeated. Mike, you're leaving out a big game.
Yeah, you're excluding a game.
I mean, you're leaving out a really big one.
Oh.
Probably intentional, I would guess.
I guarantee you Alabama didn't go around talking about the year that they lost to Clemson in the national championship game as an undefeated season.
What do you scoff?
Now, you can knock on Bama for years past and some of those national championships they claim, but in the Saban years, there's no there.
What do you wag a finger at more vociferously? That saying they were undefeated, leaving out that last game, or the UCF national championship
I was
season?
just about to bring that up.
Or equal vociferous scoffing.
Well, they did go undefeated regular season. There's nowhere that UCF won a national championship.
They didn't. At that point in time, they weren't even splitting the vote anymore. It wasn't. There was no split national championship to be had.
You can go back to old Grantland Rice and Littenhouse and AP and UPI and New York.
Yeah.
At least those national titles bestowed on teams from the past, they were actually known entities.
Sure.
Nobody gave one to UCF.
They claimed because they got one vote, that meant it was a split championship. That is not how split championships work. It, like you just said, it's an entire journalistic entity votes you champion. Now it's split.
May I introduce him to President Mitt Romney, because he got some votes.
He got a few.
He carried a couple states.
That's right.
President Mike Dukakis would like to have a word with him.
Well, wasn't it?
Heck, Al Gore and George Bush both won one of the elections.
That's
So,
right.
there you go. Same thing.
And I would tell people back then that would want to hash and argue about that. I said, here's the decider. Who's riding on Air Force One?
That would be W.
That's the president.
No
Good
kidding.
point. But wasn't for UCF? So they got the one vote, but also they beat Auburn in the Peach Bowl, and that year Auburn had beaten Alabama in the regular season. So they said,
"Oh, I love that math."
Since we beat Auburn, who beat Alabama, who won the national championship,
Slippery Rock's national champions.
We're the national champions.
Ole Miss won.
Fun game to play.
Ole Miss won the 2008 national championship because they beat Florida that year with Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
They had national
And
champions.
Vandy beat Ole Miss that year.
Well, Vandy, national champion. Clark Lee was right. Best program in the conference.
I think pregame, first game of the season against Mercer, you should tell Lane Kiffin, hey, we actually won the 2008 national championship. We should hang a banner.
I would tell you like everybody else. Goes, hey, you need to tell. I'm not telling Lane Kiffin anything.
Yeah, I don't think you'd like that too much. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Talk About Crunch Time.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11, here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
So we all know you can get everything you need at a grocery store, but why would you pay more for lesser quality meat? At Louis Deli and Meat Market in Arlington, you're not only going to see the quality in their meats, but you will literally taste the quality in every single bite. Plus, more than likely, pay less. And that's really important nowadays. Got to get together? Fire up that grill with their handmade garlic sausages or jalapeno and cheddar bratwurst. Or how about a hand-cut bacon wrap filet or top sirloin? The absolute best. Or if you want to know how to improve your outdoor grilling, pick up some of Louie's fresh ground beef or maybe their hand-cut ribeye or New York strip. Louie's has literally everything for your grill, from barbecue rubs, sauces, charcoal, and so much more. And Louie's Deli and Meat Market only carries the finest deli meats and 19 cheeses. And I guarantee you they make the best deli sandwiches in the area. So visit Louie's Deli and Meat Market, located in Arlington at 11695 Highway 70, just fourth of a mile east of Highway 385. Is locally and veteran-owned. Is Louie's Deli and Meat Market. It's the quality you can see and taste.
What's holding you back from learning the language you've always wanted to know?
Too hard.
Takes too long.
Not with Babbel. Babbel's lessons take just 15 minutes a day.
15 minutes isn't long.
Nope. And they're fun. So you don't realize you're learning a language, but you are. In 3 weeks, you're able to start having conversations. And Babbel's lessons are built around real life.
And with Babbel, it isn't hard.
It's perfect.
Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's BABBEL.com.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's Single, Spicy Chicken Sandwich, Medium Frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a Frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's Single and a Frosty for
Frosty
me.
and a Frosty. Okay, who said Frosty and a Frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
If finding great hires is burning through your summer hours, then you need Indeed. Their end-to-end hiring solution makes it easy to attract, interview, and hire candidates all in one place. Hire fast by visiting Indeed.com/credit.
You or someone you know or care about has dealt with a difficult divorce. When facing divorce, you need the attorneys at Rice Law. Nick and Larry Rice lead the firm with 3 generations and 7 decades of experience. Located in Memphis, serving the entire state of Tennessee and North Mississippi. Rice Law is who you need to call. Simple or difficult divorce, they know how to handle it. Call Rice Law at 901-526-6701, or for more information, visit them at aboutdivorce.com. That's aboutdivorce.com.
Attention, everyone. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory. Let me say that again. Family Leisure is needing your help to clear out their inventory. And to do so, there are tons of great deals throughout the store. For example, all do-it-yourself pools are $1,000 off. Special 24-foot round pools for less than $2,000. Select play gyms, only $18.99. Hey, if you need patio furniture, they have patio furniture that's now up to 30% off. Spas are in stock. They're up to $1,200 off. Now listen up, because I'm only going to say this once. 24 months, same as cash financing, is now available through this sale. Family Leisure needs your help clearing out their inventory, so come and do your part at Family Leisure. Whitten Road and I-40, where family and fun come together.
It's Wrangler season out there. Warmer days, cooler nights. Open roads, endless horizons. And you need to be ready in jeans made for the unpredictable. Wrangler, for the ride of life. Shop our newest styles today at Wrangler.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is Geraldo. It is crunch time. You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskins.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin. This baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, what I learned today, and I didn't expect to learn something about the MLS today while I'm wearing my MLS kit. It's also MLS match day. We're big MLS guys right now. But Messi is going to make his debut in about a week for Inter Miami.
Inter or Inter?
Inter.
T.
It's T. He's going to make his debut on July 21st for Inter Miami. And I learned today that Inter Miami is adding 3,000 seats to their stadium right now that currently holds 18,000. They're adding bleachers to 3 of the corners of the stadiums to make some more room for fans to see Messi for that first game and then throughout his time here, because there's going to be a ton of people knocking down the door to try to see him.
Is this a new soccer-only stadium where they play?
Yes. Yes.
And they only built 18,000 capacity.
No, but it's not new. They're still playing at the old. It's like an old, really old soccer
stadium. Oh, really?
stadium.
I thought they built it when the
I
team.
think they're trying to build one still. But
why wouldn't they try to capitalize on Messi mania and play at the home of the Dolphins?
Well, hopefully this creates enough revenue where maybe they do. I'm not sure what they're doing.
Interesting. I learned today Kirby Smart knows he's built a juggernaut with the Georgia Bulldogs, but I think he also knows the only thing now that can derail that is something off the field. And they've had some stuff off the field. They're about one more off-the-field driving-related incident before it really imperils him. That level of recruiting, that level of coaching, that level of ability, they have all that. Now they've got to watch it off the field. And, tragically, sadly, had a death in the program this offseason.
Yeah, I think you're right. What I could have done without is kind of all the talk with Rob Manfred about the Oakland A's, about expansion, and kind of what happened with the All-Star game last night. I'm with y'all. I wish they would go back to the just play in your jerseys. That was so much fun.
Did I?
No, you didn't.
I was close.
You
caught me. You reeled me back in at 3:09.
I tried. I pointed. Look, we're 9 minutes into the show. But I wish they would go back to that. But if they were going to have custom jerseys, I liked the green ones they had last night. Wasn't a huge fan of the blue ones.
I didn't know who they were.
Yeah, that was an issue. But just kind of all the talk around expansion with the Oakland A's moving, it just seems like a big slap in the face. All of this talk to the city of Oakland, and the fans are there. They did
mistreated sports town ever.
The reverse boycott was unbelievable. I just wish they could do that. Maybe not every night, but let's do it 3/4 of the home games.
And every entity's got them. Charlie O'Finley got them. NBA got them. And the Davis family got them. And now the final blow with this. I could have done without this. It's never good when sports lands in front of congressional inquiries in D.C. in the august halls of Congress. And this time in front of a Senate hearing that none of the questioners could break 90. And I don't think a lot of them could break 90 with an IQ. The U.S. Senate Permanent Committee on Investigations. Think about that. We have a sitting U.S. Senate committee, permanent committee on investigations on anything they want to investigate.
Yep.
Anything. Budgets endless. Got to be more important things to do in Washington, D.C. than worry about golf.
Got to be. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to the Scottish Open.
Ooh.
Yeah, tee time's in about 6 hours. Our time.
Well,
the beaming machine gets me there. I'm on the first tee.
My first bet guy goes off at 1:15 this morning.
Love that. You gonna be up for it?
I'll be asleep.
At the Renaissance Club in North Berwick, Scotland.
Beautiful. Jay Morgan, where are you beaming?
I'm going to beam to San Diego, California. Sunny San Diego. USA against Panama tonight in the semifinal of the Gold Cup. I don't think they win tonight. I think this is the end of the road for USA.
Really?
Is it must win?
Shame.
Yeah, this is tournament setting. So, like last game against Canada, they went to extra. It was a terrible game. It was an awful game. They went to extra time, and then they went to penalties, and they ended up winning in penalty kicks.
Are we in World Cup?
No, this is Gold Cup, so it's only North American teams and Qatar because they're in our division for some reason.
Wait a second. I was a pretty good geographer.
I'm sorry, North and Central America.
Qatar
and Qatar.
In North America?
North and Central and Qatar.
Okay. The Women's World Cup starts in next week, so that'll be a lot of fun. I think I'm going to beam to Nashville, Tennessee. The Nashville SC, their MLS soccer team in action. Real slim pickings today on where to beam. Not a lot going on because of no baseball.
Anybody watching the ESPYs tonight?
They don't have a
I'm gonna
host.
pass.
They don't have a host this year because of the writer's strike.
Is that right?
Yeah, so I don't know how it's going to look, but
I've never watched. I'm not an award show guy.
I'm not either. I really not. I thought I'd be an ESPYs guy.
Emmy nominations were announced today. That I'm interested in.
Well, you'll have to keep me up on it because I certainly won't keep up
Big 12
on it.
Media Days. We'll follow it tonight.
Absolutely. Well, that'll do it. That's all the time we have. Enjoy your night. We'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon at 3 o'clock.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside